round boy table, not round the square or triangle. We come to hang and have a game on Fridays as we're able. We play well here in Camelot, we are chums and fun, but Camelot. We're nice round boy table, our host is formidable. He runs a strange, often insane, but sure he's quite unstable. He's hobby mad in Camelot, but seems never to have done a lot. Quite incomprehensible. Blue wrench in hand, we have no plan but to sit and hear Dodge babble. It's a lazy time in Camelot.
I have to shake my bum a lot.
This channel is a not-so-proud member of YouTube's all-encompassing special society of heavily overwhelmed layout enthusiasts. Check any railway show, check any railway club, check any layout, check your own house. You'll find one of us somewhere. Warning, the content of this stream is not suitable for children under the age of 16. The topic, language, themes, attitude, and personality of the presenter is not appropriate for anyone, much less children under the age of 16. Topics discussed will not center on trains and will focus on anything except politics. It just happens trains are running. Any similarity between characters, situations, trains, and intelligent thoughts is strictly a coincidence. Any rebroadcast or transmission of the stream without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is strictly prohibited. Viewer discretion is advised. Remember the 3 rules for model train layouts and pretty much anything. It's your layout, do what you want as you want. Do not tell someone else what to do unless they ask you directly what they should do. Do not call out, mock, criticize, or insult another channel on your channel or anyone else's channel. Thank you for your cooperation.
And see it, you'll love it, and it's all done in the best possible way.
Hey, fellow Knights of the Rhomboid Table, welcome to the Great Feast Hall. It is our Friday get-together. The Royal Barkeep Mick is here. Mead, ale, beer, and anything else he's offering is available over at the sideboard, so please help yourselves. It is wonderful to see everybody here. I hope you're all doing well. We are having the first day over 70 degrees. That's weird. Normally we have a few days in either March or even a couple in February where we get warmer. But we've had no real warm up. We had a couple of days back in March where we got into the 60s and one day earlier this year where we got to about 67, which is, about 20 Celsius, 21 Celsius. But today we are at 26 Celsius. Which is about 79 Fahrenheit. So, anyhow, I hope you're all doing well. Let's go straight in to see who's here. Sir Andy81E, great to see you. And do my eyes deceive me? Sir Andy Ambrose. Andy Ambrose, how wonderful to have you here, good Sir Knight. I hope you're doing well. It's been a long time. And usually when there's absences, it's not usually the greatest news, but hopefully you've just been busy, but in a good way. But it is great to see you. It really is great to see you. Let's see, Sir Lee from Anfield Road, Sir Carl Braun with the Allo Nighthawk jokes going today. Sir Carl Braun is here. Sir Colin Wykes. Sir Alan, my Lord Alan from Dragon Junction is here. Sir Greg from Great Northern is here. Sir Ifo Fanzon is here. Sir Jean of Ricard is here. Sir Ian, you've had a crazy week. Glad to see you here. Sir Jake from Haunted Railways here. Sir Lyndon from Lintree is here. Sir Mick the Royal Barkeep is here as mentioned. Sir Dino is here, the Model Railway Shed. Sir Randall Ellison is here. We have got Sir Dirk from Southern Cross Rail System. Sir Tim of Dowd, the CEO of All Us Knights. Sir Tom of Couples, the Royal Sergeant at Arms is here. Sir Tom Houston is here. And Sir Chris of the Valleys. Of course, a lot of thoughts for those of you that are connected to the UK side. Today is a day we're remembering our friend Bernie Walker, who passed away. Was a very close friend to many of you. I was not nearly as close, although I did, for a while there, get a lot of feature on his live streams. But he was a nice guy. He's obviously sorely missed. So, but cheers to memory of Bernie. And just earlier this week would have been Chris Whittingham's 75th birthday. Since we're remembering good friends on this channel, I want to take a moment and remember good friend Chris Whittingham. Deeply missed. So anyhow, what's going on? Well, you guys have seen the video. I did get a new night jet thanks to Brian, who was here earlier. He's not here now. Just give me a sec. Of Clintonville, Model Railroad. I always struggle with it. I got his first name and now I'm forgetting his channel name. Brian of Clintonville, a great channel. Check him out. He linked me to a Canadian shop that actually had one in stock. I was so surprised. And what I'd like to do before I get running the trains day is just kind of show you a little of the difference. Now, obviously, running and running well is most important. But just as, I don't know, a lark, I got to remember where I put it. Did I put it here? Yeah. Up above, on top, that is the Jägendorfer Collection night jet that I had. And below, this is the new Roco night jet. And what I was talking about in the video, is the paint job. The one thing I'm going to miss about the Jägendorfer Collection version is that its paint scheme was more vibrant. And did somebody else just come in that I missed? Not that I'm seeing on my line here, but I'll double check. Okay. So I'll move the chat over where I can see it better while I talk here. But if you look above, if you look just at the part over where the driver's door comes in, you know, above the 1R mark here, the Jägendorfer Collection, just much more detail and color. Like if you look right above the headlight, more stars show up. The X star is just much clearer. It's brighter. If you go down the middle of the Jägendorfer Collection, the clouds, the blue glow is there where it's virtually non-existent on the Roco. It's just a bit prettier, okay? It's just a bit nicer. So now I've put myself in the way. But, you know, if, for example, again, if you look right here
and compare the same area down below, it's just much more vibrant, much fuller. If you look this way, you see the clouds right here next to me. You can see the clouds. And when you come down here, you don't see the clouds. So in the video when I was talking about it, hey, Sir John of Mystic Railroad, there you go. Can I swap shells? Unfortunately, no. No. And the Jägendorfer collection one, the one up above, is already in its box, boxed up and ready to go back to Germany. As far as detail, it's a curious point on the details. You know, for example, the grills, which on the Jägendorfer collection one are recessed, which is how they are in reality, versus Roco, where it's stuck on top, which is not how they are. Yeah, it's, and there are definitely some details. Ifo von Zohn was pointing out that, which little details I missed, that he felt the Roco did better. But I'm drawn to the colors, the vibrancy of the colors. And so I think in terms of livery, the Jägendorfer collection version is better. Unfortunately, it's a crap motor, a crap design with its pickup shoe for third rail. And so it died. So Roco wins by technical knockout. So the Roco is here and it's here to stay. Looks great. Again, I am not complaining about this. I want people to understand. I think a couple of commenters thought I was complaining about the Roco and give me a little grief about my complaint. No, I was emotional because I've had to go through this. But I'm also, part of that emotional is the anger and frustration going through with that, and then the joy of finding the link to this, laughing as I bought it last week online. And they told me I wouldn't see it until April 24th. And Joyce and I went out yesterday and we came back and we're driving up the driveway. And Joyce goes, "What's that box? Did you have an order from Lipa coming?" "No. But it sure looks the right size for a locomotive box." "Well, I don't have any locomotive. The one from Canada said it's not coming until next week." And lo and behold, it was this one. So yeah, quite happy, quite thrilled. In the end, it's a win. It just was a hard-fought win. And I don't like to be too critical. It's just, you know, certain things I do impulse buy because of how pretty they are. My locomotives, my model cars, my wife, you know, it's impulse buy. You just go, "Ooh, nice," and buy. And Joyce is upstairs cleaning the living room. She didn't hear that. Anybody tells her and you're getting a permanent ban. So, yeah, it's, hey, Sir Dave of Sparky, how are you? No, the shop is called the Scuderia 46. And they are, according to their website, they are located somewhere in a borough of Toronto, Canada. But the mailing address was from somewhere in New York State. So I don't know if they drove an hour down to Niagara Falls, went across and put it in an American mail to save the shipping fees or post or what have you, or how they pulled that off. Or maybe the store is in Canada, but they have a New York office, or how they did it. You do so love poking the bear with a 12-inch ruler. I got that. Yeah, and again, when you get into the finer details, Ifo, yes, I think Roco wins. Definitely much more metal in the pantographs, but it's the livery that grabs me. I'm sorry if that sounds not cool, but I don't brook trying to be cool. I've been a nerd my whole life. I fly my freak flag proudly. Or fondly. Fly my freak flag fondly. Ooh, I screwed it up, darn it. I'm usually, don't tongue-tie myself that way. So overall, its details are sharper. I totally grant that. But the livery, the paint job on it, Jägendorfer wins. And that's what drew me to it. So while it's still beautiful with Roco, the Jägendorfer is prettier. It's prettier. Hey, Sir Raymond of Legs, welcome in. Andy 81E, to get it here from Lipa, when they used to use DHL, if I ordered it before Monday morning, it was on my doorstep Wednesday. Nowadays with FedEx, if I order it before they open on Monday, I'll have it Thursday or Friday. Sometimes, depending on how backed up they get in Memphis, which is the main hub they ship to from Germany. Every now and then it gets delayed at Frankfurt. Every now and then it gets delayed at Memphis. But it's usually less than a week. It's usually 5 business days. 4 to 5 business days, with the weekend not counting as business days. Apparently FedEx gives discounts, because FedEx will deliver on Saturdays and Sundays, but they charge companies that want them to deliver on Saturdays and Sundays more money. And so the deal that Lipa has with FedEx is no weekend deliveries. So yeah, we get it. Yeah, I think everybody gets it about the same amount of time. And to, Raymond, I don't want to bash a company. I still think that Jägendorfer's Railjets, Austrian and Czech, are the best among anybody. Better than Roco's, way better than Piko's. And I don't know who else makes Railjets. But I do think Jägendorfers are the best, both in terms of appearance, the lighting system, all the mechanical, as well as they're good runners. Why, when I buy individual locos from Jägendorfer, I have problems with each one I've ever bought from them. I don't get it. That's what I don't understand. I've bought 3 locos now from Jägendorfer collection, and 2 have been utter crap, and 1 had some issues that I was able to sort out, and it runs okay, but it's definitely a weak puller. They're all weak pullers, but 2 of them, bad decoders, bad motors, all kinds of issues with them. So I'm done. I'm not giving Jägendorfer collection another chance. And see, Clintonville, I could bring in a ton of people that go the other way and say BLI is that they've had nothing but bad luck with BLI. But there are companies that are much more consistent than others. I think Märklin is very, very consistently good. Some are much better than others, but I've never had a Märklin come in and just suddenly blow the decoder or suddenly not be able to pull things. The only thing I'll criticize Märklin for is that their the new motors that they're using in their ICE4s and their ICE3s are not strong enough for the 12-car consist they're creating, especially with the ICE4. They're just not strong enough if you put that 12 thing together and try to run it up anything remotely resembling an incline. My incline is not ridiculous. It's basically, it's a little more than 2%. It's supposed to be 2%, but for some reason it measures like 2.2, 2.3%, which is why I like to give locomotives the incline test. Hey, Dave, how are you? And by the way, Hot Dog Pilot Andy says he's at a family function and he doesn't know if he'll be here today, so hopefully Andy is having fun. All right, so enough about the trains that aren't running. Let's talk about the trains that are. So today I am running a IC2, which ran a couple of weeks ago with the new Class 147 I picked up at Ormondy's. Today it's running again with its original loco, the 146.5, so we'll put that one in motion. On the next lane, we got some freight being pulled by a 218 in the 70s, 80s ocean blue and beige livery. So we'll put that guy in motion. And now we've got a Class 143 pulling a German commuter train, a Regio as they're called. That's a Class 143 locomotive, and those are DoStos as we call them, German for Doppelstock, which means double floor. Stock is a floor or level like in a building. And then it's a long train, but I'm keeping it on the flat because it's old. And this is only the second time it's ever run on my live stream. So I'm keeping it, even though it's a long train, I'm keeping it on a shorter flat loop just to avoid risk overdoing it. This is my ICE Amtrak. This is the one that came over to the United States in 93, 94, and was being tested by Amtrak as a potential go-to model. This is the full set, although I technically have one more first-class car sitting in Denmark because when I got it from Herb, it was missing one of the first-class cars, and so we ordered it. No, it wasn't missing the first-class car. There was an additional first-class car that was released with it. Let's get it right. And Herb did not have that. So I bought it. I bought it from a store in Europe and had it sent to, or had Jean Ricard buy it for me, and he's holding it. And then Joyce turned around without me knowing that I had bought it off of eBay with Jean Ricard. Joyce found it and bought it. Okay, so that's the story behind that. I'm going to slow it down a bit, although it's nice to see it moving quickly. All right, then, not having rolled in a few weeks on the layout, we're going to have the Metronome, and just to appease Crazy Danes and anybody else who thinks things need to be Steuerwagen first, I am running the Metronome. Again, if you're not familiar with the Metronome, the yellow, blue, and white train that just started running, the Metronome is a private company that runs on the federal tracks of Germany, and it basically handles traffic in and out of Hamburg. The headquarters are in Uelzen, which is southeast, if I remember correctly, of Hamburg, but really it's commuter traffic that Deutsche Bahn doesn't do in and out. It's taken over a lot of the routes. It's been there for years. But yeah, they do that. And then way in the back is NordWestBahn, which is Oldenburg, Bremen. Oldenburg, Bremen, I think they go as far as Hanover. I won't swear to that. And they go down as far as Münster. Osnabrück and Münster. So I will get that guy in motion. Ding! Does it tick as it goes along? But it does keep time. Metronomes do not like to be late. Oh, and on the floor, let's go to the floor today. Sorry about that, my friends. On the floor, I'm running my Class 73 Singles from Liverpool train, celebrating the Beatles. And I'm running the Scotrail, which I don't know how the Scotrail is going to run because it's probably jealous that it just got knocked off the top as one of my favorite liveries. Hey, Sir Eric from Von Don Eisenbahn. Yes, they did just get rid of all the bistro cars on the IC, the ICs, the IC ones, and I believe the ICE ones. But yes, I did like those dome top, not that they had windows, but the dome topped bistro cars. Clintonville, if it says Märklin, it's not 2-rail. It will. The Märklin Shay is 3-rail. The Märklin Shay is 3-rail. Maybe you're seeing the Märklin advertisement for the Trix run that will be 2-rail. Or the BLI, but Märklin is 3-rail. The Märklin Shay is 3-rail. Wait, who just said that? Dino, you need a restaurant car for your ICE2. I'm not sure. I always think this one is an ICE1. This came in some stuff I got, but it's a spare restaurant car. It is a spare restaurant car. My brain wants to tell me that's an ICE1 restaurant car, but I think it could be an ICE2. Anyhow, let's get my face off the camera. We're going to start off with the multi-view today. Yeah, the original purplish. Does Märklin still release anything in the Hamo name? Because I know they occasionally release things in Primex name to fulfill legal commitments for owning it. Yeah, that's why I start thinking it's a 2, because it's an 804. Yeah, it's 804009-9. So that's why I started to think a while ago this is an ICE2, because it's 804 as opposed to 800 or 801. But to be honest, I have been waiting for Märklin to redo, revamp, and release a modern or better quality version of the ICE 1s and 2s and get rid of the, come back with the pin connectors like the ICE 3s and ICE 4s have and get rid of this connector. I would really like to see Roco a couple years ago released a really high-end ICE 1, but they didn't do it 3-rail, and I'm still mad about that because I would have bought it. $805 to $808 is ICE2. Okay. Yeah, I just want an ICE in the same quality as the ICE 3s and ICE 4s, but with a stronger motor. Is 649 euros a lot? Isn't that the starting price for the Shay? And yeah, that's for a Märklin, that's a higher end price for an HO locomotive. But the Shay is going to be a limited release, which is going to jack the price up. But I don't have any connection to the Shay. I know it's a very popular steam locomotive for a lot of people, but I have no connection to it. I have no need for it, no desire for it. would have said for years that I did say for years I don't even have an interest in steam, but I do appreciate the work that went in making them. But considering my now not extensive but plentiful steamer locomotive collection, the 2 or 3 British steamers I have, and then I don't even know how many European steamers I now have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I now have 19 steamers, so I cannot say I don't collect steam trains. I now have 19 steamers. Okay, 5 of them are the KLVMs. Basically the same model, just different paint jobs on them. Hey, Monsville is here. Hello, hello. No, I don't. To be honest, the only type of steam locomotive from the UK that I still would have an interest in getting is some version of a warship as far as steam locomotives go. I do like the warships, or there's a similar version to them. And that would be it for UK steam. Obviously, I've got the Flying Scotsman. I've got the Mallard or Mallard, depending on where you're from. We say Mallard. Well, I have had the opportunity, Brian, I have had the opportunity to buy a lot of trains. And I will tell you probably 11 or 12 of those 19 steamers came in one collection I bought off a friend. Warship is the V200 in Europe, but the UK has a steamer class called the Warship. Warship is a diesel. This is the problem when different companies have a line and type of. There is one other steamer from the UK, or at least I think of it as a UK steamer, and that is a J94, because I have a good friend, Kieran, who comes to the chats most of the time, whose nickname is J94. I've known him for many years, and he's such a nice guy. And just to honor him, like I try to honor a lot of my friends, one way or the other, I'd get a J94 just for the hell of it. Spam cans. So but I'm and also the Merchant Navy and there's the Battle of Britain class, but maybe Tim Dowd can help me. Maybe I misquoted it, but I thought it was the warship class. Huh. Every now and then it sounds like somebody below is derailed. Hang on a second. Are you derailed? You're not derailed. You're not derailed. You're not derailed. Aha! You are derailed, you naughty boy. Okay, problem solved. All right, let's go through to some of the big views so you can really see what's going on here. Warship Merchant Navy class. I don't know, guys. I just hear people use the term on their things. I don't study UK things. I just hear somebody say this is a warship class, and I go, oh, I kind of like that. And I've heard the term spam cams, and I try to remember if that's referring to the same thing or blah, blah, blah. So, red light, catch up on the chat. Well, I'm reading a lot of the chat. I just don't know. I'm letting people talk what they're saying. Hey, Christopher! Greetings, my friend, Sir Christopher. Yeah, I don't know how much it ran before I got it. It was part of Herb's collection, so it was a display model. So it may have run a lot in its day when he had a layout, but towards the last couple of years, he really wasn't running much on his layout. He was running, he had things on display. And this is only the second time I've run it since I got it last end of September, beginning of October, because it was all around Getz. Because, yeah, I was getting the boxes in before Getz, and then we came back for the last box after Getz. Hey, Sir Leo, my 320 runs very well. I would not say that the noise was unusual, but I think it's running fine. I ran it just on the live stream about 3 weeks ago. It's a big dude, and my attitude, especially with how my track is laid, big dudes will be a bit noisier, because I really, it's always hard, and I don't explain things well enough in some cases. When I talk about being noisy, it's just how heavy it sounds on the track as opposed to the motor making a loud motor noise, which, like in my recent Jägendorfer collection, Night Jet, where the motor was making a noise. But that's what I talk about. It's just how loud is it running on the tracks. And no, I have not... When I've run it on the live streams, I have not noticed it making any noise beyond any of my 218s. It is my biggest and heaviest locomotive by far. It is my biggest, so there's a level of noise I expect it to have, I guess. But I'm only 9 years into the hobby. November this year will be my 10th year. And the first 5 years of my hobby, I had a very minimal collection. It's only been the last 4 to 5 years that I've really expanded my collection by leaps and bounds. All right, take care. You have a great weekend if you celebrate Easter. Even if you don't celebrate Easter, have a great weekend. We have a family get-together, but we don't do celebration. It's another reason to get the family together. So my son and his wife are coming up. So we'll have everybody here for dinner on Sunday. Well, as I've delved into this hobby, EFO, it is amazing how much Lima made. American stock, UK stock, all the European, all the countries of Europe stock. Lima, I did not realize how big and expansive they were even before Hornby acquired them. Even stuff that's released under the American name is either Rivarossi or Lima. The Baltimore and Ohio cars, they're actually in one of the drawers here. The Baltimore and Ohio cars, or are they down there? Yeah, they're in the drawer there. Which I'm thinking I'll run next week again. Now that I've got them all coupled, I want to test them out, make sure the couplers hold. But those are all, they were all listed as Athearn, but they were all Rivarossi manufactured. Rivarossi made them for Athearn. Yeah, Leo, and yeah, it's quite possible. And again, there's always distinguishing between the sound of the motor and just the sound of it running. If you're having sound in the motor, that may or may not be a cause for concern. Is it running smoothly? Does it move at the right speed steps you think it should be moving? But yeah, my attitude, and I'm not a pro. There are many people in here who know 1,000 times more than I do, even about Märklin. Guys like Raymond Legs, Ifo van Zoon, Jean Ricard. These guys have a much deeper history and knowledge of model trains in general and Märklin specifically than I have. I just have my limited experience. But when I have big locomotives, I am shocked if they run. Like, I've got a couple of locomotives that when I run them in, I'm sitting here and my track is right next to me. You know, this camera's that you're seeing right now is right there. And I have to stop and look because I can't hear it running on the rail. I don't hear the pickup shoe. I don't hear the wheels on the track. I actually have to look and see, did it stop? Because they're just that silent. But my V320, that's a big boy. So I did mention it ran more loudly, but I did kind of attribute that to its weight and size. But I've run it a couple of dozen times since then, and anytime I run a locomotive, it's during my 3-hour live stream, so they're running an extensive amount. They're running 3 hours, which maybe not be the smartest thing in the world. Now, since I was talking steam trades, but British trades, I still want to get a Class 37. I want a Class 37 Euro Phoenix. I keep checking Brian Finnerton's site to see if every now and then if he's got one. But I'd like a Class 37 Euro Phoenix. I'd like a Lumo Javelin or Class 800, whichever one they go to. I don't know if the Lumos are 800s or 395s, 397s. I don't know. I just like them, and they look like my Azuma, so I assume they're 800s. Yeah, that's what I said. And yeah, Lima even did Portuguese, which is just, you know, good for the Portuguese. I know of a couple of companies that are Portuguese, but it's just that considering Lima, they did everything. We can have great debates over the various levels of quality of Lima, but I mean, to me, there's no problem with saying, okay, here's our El Cheapo, and it's $30, and here's a better car, and it's 80 or 90 bucks. Zoot Express, there's a company. You guys tell me, is this a better view now that there's actually some turf and more, there's some ballast on it? Obviously, there's a lot more to do, but last week at this time, there was nothing there, and now there's something there. No, Andy, the entire Metronome set was a box set from Märklin, number 26611. I believe that's what its number was, 26611. You don't think it kept pace with development? Well, hello, Lady Kara, welcome in. And hello, Sir Wilhelm, hello. Yeah, I still got to get Yeah, and that's why I put it at this angle. You could see the two trains running on the floor. You know, I try to give as many views of the trains on the floor for my UK friends as I can, since I focus on my German trains. But yeah, now that there's some scattered down and I just threw up some random, not prototypical, not consistent things on the platforms, it's a little better eye candy, and I want to go to this camera more. Let me see, yeah, like this one. This is a much better view, and I think the scatter grass actually makes it light up more. The light isn't being absorbed by the dark brown that was there. So this view suddenly is so much better today compared to even last week. Oh, that's interesting, Dirk. I hadn't even heard of them. I'll look them up just to see what they're like. So, and even though you can see where the scatter grass ends and the little 1 millimeter static grass sheets that I laid down just to have something there, you can clearly see the divide. It still flows. So yeah, I'm quite pleased that I can now offer a little bit of scenery, and you can even see the guys working at the buffer stop there. So yeah, I just think I'm very eager. So I mean, there's so much more to go. There'll be weeds and all types of things to add to that. I actually have a couple of bags of tufts, weed tufts that I'll scatter in there, and then I'll get some bramble and you know, wild hedge stuff and just put in there. I don't want to overdo it. Oh, I agree. I figure that much, Efo, that each nation will have its own. In my days, just looking things up, I've come across, of course, train companies from India that make Indian trains. And, you know, the Indian subcontinent. Yes, all of my cameras that are active now are webcams. So they're all wired into my computer. All 16 of them. I have additional cameras that I can add. For example, I do have a GoPro. Because, see, this corner is the next area. I'm not going to do into the double slips yet because I think I got to take out a double slip and replace it. But this section here is the next section to be done with grass. To lock the focus, I'm sure there is. I've just never messed with it too much. Let me go into settings and see if I can. Because it's supposed to auto-detect buffering, which is supposed to help stop that. Let's see if that stops the buffering. All right. Yeah, I just never gone through and turned it off. Sorry about that, Dave. And usually they don't bounce around like that, but this one is clearly bouncing, and obviously it's because it's getting more light and residual effects with the grass. Hey, Sir Dwight Curley. Yeah, that's all multiple double slips, Sir Leo. But there, that took that out. I should go ahead and do that with other cameras where I notice that they zoom in and out. Like even this one's doing it a bit, so. Let's see if I can talk this one into. All right, you're 0 for 2, dummy. Configure video. Okay, that'll at least stop that one from zooming in and out. I do kind of like the autofocus being on because when a train's in the distance, it will focus in on it and it won't be a blur like that one is now. But maybe it's just better for the eyes if it's focused this way. Eric, that is Eric, that's actually a good point. My thing is, I think if they just went to a thicker bar, the armature that switches back and forth, it's such a hair-thin piece of metal, which is also, unfortunately, why they have issues where once you put them in, the wires can get entangled with them and create havoc where they won't completely close or completely open because the tensile memory of the wire eventually pushes back up in there and messes with them, and they're not strong enough to push past the wire. They just need in my opinion, they just need a thicker wire. Yeah, add 10 cents to the price of the double slip and use thicker armature in there. And I think it would alleviate these problems both ways. No. Hey, Sir Charlie Ari. No, Dave, to be honest, I do appreciate if somebody says there's a problem with lighting or a problem, because, you know, I'm doing this for you guys. I mean, that sounds weird. You know, I'm inviting you guys to watch, and if watching is uncomfortable because the cameras are zooming in and out and driving you crazy, then yeah, I want you guys to enjoy it more. I just usually go with autofocus, so that like here, the metronome in the background, it would suddenly focus on it and would look clear. But yeah, when it's zooming in and out, it's annoying as hell. And I've been doing it for 5 years to people. Maybe more people will stay if they don't see the cameras vibrating in and out. What controls do they offer? It depends on the camera. But through OBS, I can control everything. For example, the camera I just did, when I go into configure video, I've got brightness, contrast, hue, saturation, sharpness, gamma, white balance, backlight, composition, gain, color enable, power line frequency, anti-flicker, zoom, focus, exposure, aperture, pan, tilt, roll, low light compensation. And some of those are active and some of those aren't. So there's a lot of control they offer. I'm lazy. That will always be my answer. It's an honest answer. I'm lazy. I put it up. Is the camera working? Yep. Am I happy with it? Yeah, good enough. Hey, welcome Daniel Popa. Hello, thanks for stopping in. We'll have a quick ceremony here, since apparently this is your first time popping in chat because you're not knighted. I now declare you a knight of the Rhomboid table. Daniel, you're now a knight of the round boy table. You can pop your, if you got a channel with videos, you can pop it in. Friends channels, comedy, any hobby, radio control, knitting, quilting, wargaming. The only thing we keep away, no politics. Absolutely zero politics, absolutely zero religion. If you've never seen the layout before, here is a map. In reality, where I am sitting facing you, I'd actually be facing that way. So to my left, even though I'm actually pointing to my right, so actually, in reality, it's that way, but on your picture, it's that way, is my big table. That's 8 feet wide by 12.5 feet deep. The middle section is 2.5 feet wide by, or 2.5 feet deep by 6 feet wide. And then, in reality, that way, but on your picture, that side is 8 foot by 11 feet. And then there's a 5-lane parking Schottenbahnhof. Can you call it a Schottenbahnhof? This parking rail yard over on the end that below the camera. Oh, booked a trip to London. Nice. All right, so let's go to, I just missed it, station view. Yeah, you're based in California. You watch after work hours. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, plug your channels. Some people get uptight about it. You don't have to ask. Speaking of which, yeah. So it doesn't look like an earthquake. So let's fix this camera while I'm at it. See, now you got me thinking about this, which is a good thing. There. Okay, now that'll stop zoomy in and out. Oh, nobody's there. See here, you'll just follow this freighter around. Whoops, went the wrong way. Station. Up the ramp. There we go. And then the next step will be, so this corner here and this area next to my side, and then that corner around that camera there, that's going to get some grass in that area after that. So next step, and then next step, and then right behind me here is going to get all kinds of grass in it, and then I'll slowly have grass all the way around the layout, and then I'll go back and start boop, 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 putting in all the little weeds and wildflowers. Oh, thank you for saying that, Daniel. Really appreciate it. We appreciate everybody who comes in and stays. And to the people who don't stay, hey, I understand. There are times where I wouldn't want to hang around and listen to myself either. And then this is the widest view I have available. The camera is up in the corner. That camera is up in the corner. Below that camera are 3 shelves. Well, actually 2 shelves loaded with trains. And then the 3rd shelf is my high-speed train parking area, which I don't have a good camera to show you. Maybe if I do the Nexi Solo. And I don't put it in my shaky hand. So there's that camera you just getting the view from. And then there's all the trains on the two shelves. And then there's the high-speed parking area behind the German flag. The German flag is there to keep my damn cats from hopping up in there. They've got a couple of areas they like to hop. So on one side, I put a big white wall because they used to hop up through there and they would do damage to my Delmenor station. And then they would hop up there and knock over all my high-speed trains in that corner. I don't know if you can see, there's a big sheet of plexiglass sticking up there so they can't jump that area either. And they won't jump where the shelf is because they hit their heads, which I wish they would do more often. Anyhow, so let's go back to that long view. I don't know, where can I move that number 9 to? Number 9, number 9, number 9, number 9. There. Oh, well, that's right, because that bookshelf is in the way there, so even if I moved it, you couldn't see. God, I forgot. That's why I've got the 9 there anyhow. Okay. Wasted venture. Yeah, unfortunately, Chris, none of that works. Pepper, peppermint, catnip, it doesn't work. They are very bullheaded cats. And all the stuff that usually works with keeping cats to somewhere and keeping them out of somewhere else, none of it works. They will not, I've got a cat that if she wants to pee somewhere, she just pees. She's lazy. Why go all the way downstairs to her cat box? In fact, she won't pee in any cat box. She doesn't like peeing in any sand. And we've had it's urinary infections. You know, they have urinary problems, and peeing in the sand makes it worse, and blah, blah, blah. She has no trouble peeing on anything else. But peeing in a cat box, forget it. So we've got her kind of trained to go on diapers. But the minute we put a new rug or new rug of any size, like rug in the kitchen for people to wipe their feet off coming in from outside, she'll pee on it. Low shag, high shag. Yeah. These cats are just, I hate to say it, but it's true. These are cats from hell. Well, you know, the thing is, I would make these outdoor cats, but we already got like 3 feral cats that live among a couple of houses here. And I don't like to add to the feral cat problem. But I'm getting to the point where I'm ready to just go ahead and toss them out. I didn't even want cats. I got guilted into it. Our cat Sabina died, and we went a year or 2 years without a cat, and we had Sabina for 20 years. And Joyce was really missing having a pet around. She was really missing having pets, and she kept mentioning she wanted a dog, and I said, nah, we're not going to get a dog. I love dogs, but I'm beyond having pets, really. But at least cats supposedly take care of themselves. Oh, not this cat. Not these cats. Hey, Sir Leslie, how are you? Great to have you here. And let's go ahead and adjust this one. There. Stop zooming in and out. There we go. And what's weird is, yeah, they normally don't do it this bad, but now in the areas where I put the grass and got better lighting, yeah, they are zooming in and out. Now I'm noticing it everywhere. Many people know the story. We had a dog named Storm for 15 years and a cat named Sabina for 20. That dog and cat lived with us, it seemed, forever. And they died. Storm died in 2017, and I think Sabina died in 2019. She went 2 more years and died, maybe 3 more years. And it was sad to see them both go. And, but every dog or cat, it could be that too, EFO, it could be that. But usually when you're dealing with contrast and even white balance issues, it's the really stark contrast between a blue this and a yellow this and the depth. And obviously they'll focus on the grass or the track in front because that's what's nearest. And then anything moving in the back suddenly diverts their attention. Yeah, I remember that, Tim, and I know how much you loved them. And I'm not a cat person myself. But like I said, we had a cat for 20 years. The family loved her. She was an ornery cat, but she was a good cat. And, yeah, we just... Whoops, wrong one. We just, I wanted to be done because with a dog... We've had big dogs. Well, big is a relative term. 60 to 70 pound dogs. Medium-sized dogs, I guess. And mutts. We didn't have breeds. We had mutts, which are my favorite type of dog. And they were rescue dogs. But every pet we've ever had has had to have a special diet of highly expensive food, of course. Special medicines, shots, etc., etc. And they become more expensive than just your average pet. And we pay the bills and we go through it because we all love the pets. These cats, special diet, special needs, special problems, special medicines, special care they need, but they provide nothing of a positive. But with dogs, you try to walk the dog, but we had a dog run in our yard that I built up, and so you could put the dog out, let her stay out as long as she wanted. But she had preferred areas to pee, and that meant killing the yard. And I've hit an age now where I do like growing my lawn and don't like the massive patches where the uric acid kills the grass. So I finally decided the kids had grown up. I don't want to take care of a dog. I don't want to pick up the dog poop every time I got to mow the lawn or shovel something or walk through the yard. So yeah, it was sort of like I wanted to be done with that. I've loved having dogs. I've loved the dogs we've had. But yeah, I'm ready to be done. And the only dog you could really tuck me into, I wouldn't want to raise in an urban area that we live in. I love beagles. Beagles are my favorite breed of dog. Wire fox terriers, wire hair fox terriers are my second favorite breed. And German Shepherds are third. And out of the 3, wire fox terrier. But if you want to get a wire fox terrier puppy, yeah, you got to fork over $1,800. And my brain goes, that's 5 locomotives. No, you're not allowed up there. No. You go back down below the table. That's where you belong. Sorry, speaking of pets, a couple of spiders have decided to come out and show themselves, and I have a working agreement with the spiders. They stay below the table, and they're allowed to live. Yeah, it is when you've had them, when they are special to you. And I know how special your cats were to you, Tim. you know, Storm and Sabina were very special to the entire family. And I would normally just say, it's a cat. But when Sabina died, I cried. She had been a part of our family. Now, I rebel against that term, the vets, and the new nomenclature. People go, oh, are you that cat's daddy? I'm like, no, I'm that cat's owner. Are you a doggy daddy? No, I'm a dog owner. It is a dog. It's an animal. I'm not its parent. It had a dad. It had a mom. So I'm not into that. My apologies if I sound too mean or judgmental about that, but I do dislike that terminology. I'm a doggy daddy. No, I'm not. I'm not a doggy daddy. I'm a dog owner, or was. Yeah, it was tough to let her go, and I cried when Storm died. And in fact, the last 3-4 years Sabina was alive, she and I were best friends. It's cheaper and they can't read. I love that comment, Tom. No, but that's the thing. Hey, Senator Bonnie, how are you? But that's the thing. You don't have to buy chow for your locomotive. You pay the initial money for the locomotive. You don't have to feed it again. You just have to clean it now and then and give it a little oil. And that's true of some of us humans too, but that's a different story and we won't go there now. And I don't have a problem. Pets are a part of the family. I have that. And some people do think, you know, these pets are my children. And that's fine. I don't want to degrade them, but yeah, when you know, you love your pets, and let's face it, we have pets we love more than people we know. Jean Ricard, you keep finding different ways to say I'm a real model train guy. As if it needs to be proven. I would think this is proof I'm a model train guy. Just like this is proof I'm a Liverpool fan. Mo Salah, babies. Good night, Evo. Thanks for hanging out with us. Yeah, but when you have a pet and you devote your time and energy to it, you know, I personally have never been upset when I would say I have been upset when, but, you know, we had hamsters for the kids. The kids had hamsters, so I was sad for the kids. Oh, Mr. Fuzzy died. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. You know, we had gerbils, guinea pigs, hamsters, and they all die, and they don't live long. That's why I loved fish. I had 2 55-gallon tanks, a 29-gallon tank, and a 10-gallon tank, because I used to do all schooling fish. So if one died, there were 10, 20 others that looked just like it. And my kids, everybody had to have names. So what were the fish's names? So all the cardinal tetras were Mike, and all the neon tetras, or whatever ones they were Bob. And when one died, it was always Bob with the last number. But Dad, that looks like Bob 7. Nope, it's Bob 18. I think my kids got a little older and go, Dad, why is it always the one with the last number dying? Just how it works, honey. Does that mean Bob 17's the next one to go? Yep. Dad, Bob 17 and Bob 16 are dead. Well, I think Bob 17 didn't want to go alone, and he took Bob 16 with him. Hey, Sir Ray Bertelson, how are you? Yeah, that's right, Clintville. That's how we started chatting with you, is about fish, because you had all the fish tank. Because right after your live stream, or the live stream where we were talking fish tanks a couple of weeks ago, Joyce announced that she wants to put a decent-sized tank back in the living room. Conveniently where the cat tree currently is. The unused cat tree, because they've been banned from the living room. Lurking while working. Sounds like a cool song title or album title. You can't see me jerking because I'm working while I'm lurking while I'm working. I will hug him and hold him and call him George. George is my friend, but George don't move no more. Oh, that was if I just want to feel stupid again. Somebody can help me feel stupid. I need to put new traction tires on this, my Piko. And their diagram doesn't tell you how to separate. They have a picture of it separated, but they don't show you how to separate it. Like, insert finger here, pull this piece apart from here. It's separated. I have spent 2 days trying to get traction tires on the two traction wheels here, and I can't get these apart. And I've just given up, and I've been trying to see if I could put it on past the, the whatever this stuff is called in front of the wheel. Can I slip it up in there and grab it and pull it on? It is just, I can't figure it out. I was absolutely frustrated yesterday. I got the proper Piko wheels or tires, and I can't get them on because I want to run that. And the only reason it can't run is it needs new traction tires. It blew both of them during the live stream a couple of weeks ago. Let's get off my face and go to other cameras. I did ask YouTube. I never bring something up to people if I haven't already Googled and checked YouTube and gone to all the sources. Because, unfortunately, that's the static answer people give you. If you say, hey, do you know how to do this? Try YouTube. Try Google. I did. Can't find it. That's why I'm here asking you now. God, thank God Google wasn't around when we were kids. Mom! How much is 2 plus 2? I don't know! Google it! See, I personally never give that as an answer to somebody. I might ask, if I know, I'll say I know. If I think I know somebody who knows, I'll say, try this person. And then I might say, did you Google it? Like, first of all, did you check the manual? Oh my God, what number is it? I just looked it up. Now I have to go back and look. Five nine 846. It's 59846. Like I said, I've got the manuals. I've got the manuals both in the box and downloaded on my computer. I have most of the manuals to my New locos. I also have them downloaded on my computer. Well, go ahead and ask in Glasgow. At the end of May, I'll be in Germany. And I can ask plenty of people there. I could take it with me, but since I'm bringing so much back, I don't want to take stuff with me. Heck, I've already bought things I'll be bringing back from Germany. I'm using Jean Ricard's house as a storage depot. I'm buying stuff in Europe and having it shipped to Jean's house. Well, hi there, Sir Andy. Welcome in. Yeah, Leslie. And the thing is, the answers on Google, it's like asking, like going to a train show, stopping the show, and asking a question of everybody. There's 10,000 people there. You'll get 7,000 answers. All different. Hey, does anybody know how you do this? Yeah, you do this. You do this. And the 3,000 people are the pros that go, oh, another idiot who doesn't know how to do it. Google it, you know. But to be honest, I don't like going to Google for answers because there's too many answers. Even on YouTube. Now, yes, when I was like, for example, when I learned how to set up multiple cameras on OBS, I did a video. But I felt there were things that the video didn't explain, so I did videos explaining how to set up OBS and solve some problems. Heck, everybody knows Mark from Model Railway Fantasia. I think it's absolutely funny. But he was thinking about getting a 3D machine, a 3D printer. He was just thinking about it. And he asked me, how do they work? And he asked me to do a video because he learns by listening and seeing rather than somebody just telling him. So I did a video saying, here's the basics of 3D printing. 2 years later, I think I've run my 3D printer 5 times, and he's now printing all these gorgeous cars he's designed, tanks, wagons, hoppers, all these beautiful things he's designed. So he went from like 0 to 1,000 in a year. He just, oh, I get this shit. Oh, good. And now he's making all these beautiful wagons that people are singing the praises of. But it all started with me. It all started with me. That's the great irony. I will sometimes help people and with something, and then they go on and run with it. There's a channel called Tommy Canada. He's a German guy that lives in Toronto, Canada. And long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, he came across my channel and he saw my love and enthusiasm for Märklin trains. And the comment is still on one of those Märklin Outsider videos where he said, you've re-sparked my love and interest of Märklin. I think I'm going to start a layout. And then he started building his layout in his really nice home, luxury home that he has in Toronto. And last I saw his channel's like 9,000 subscribers, and I'm not there. He took it and ran with it. I just kind of gave it to him and sat down. And that's why, you know, I go to Google because I've just gotten so used to people saying, did you Google? It's like, yeah, I Googled and I found 17,000 pages on the topic. And that's serious stuff, not model trains. And that's why I tend not to ask for help. I learn. I learn who knows. And then I will talk to them offline privately and say, by the way, Raymond, do you know this? Or by the way, Jean, do you know this? You know, it's like going to Italy and asking how to make spaghetti. Each person you meet will give you a different answer. You want to start a fight? Get 20 people from the UK together and ask them how they pronounce their favorite little pastry sandwich. Is it scone or scone? Or some other pronunciation? Go to the middle of one of our central states and ask them, do they say Missouri or Missouri? Heck, even in my state, there's a line from Cleveland to Dayton. North of that line, we say Ohio. South of that line, it's Ohio. I'm from Dayton, Ohio. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I'm from Dayton, Ohio. Thank you, Carl. Yeah. Yeah, while they're fighting, I eat them. I try to listen to what the person serving them says, and then I say them that way. My best friends, the late Dean and the late John, they would fight over it because one was scone and one was scone. And John would be, my dad is from Scotland and they say it. And Dean would be, or no, John was, my dad is from England and they say it this way. And Dean would be, my family's from Scotland and we said it this way. And it's like, they could get, it was all in jest. It was all fun, but they would get pretty heated about it. Yeah, is pavlova a cake or a meringue? Get the Aussies arguing about that one. Yeah, in all cases, it's regional. In all cases, the way you say something is regional. But when you get people who don't accept that, you know, we say it correctly. This is how it's done. I worked for many, many years as a fry cook at a potato pancake house for our German-American Festivals Society, including our big 4-day weekend party every August. And I happily cooked the recipe we were given, which our president, Hans-Ur Sepke, this was the recipe his grandmother had that she passed on to her daughter, which her daughter, his mom, passed on to him. This is how you make it. And then we would get Germans who came here and go, this is not a potato pancake. This is not how you make potato pancakes. And it would drive Hans crazy because Hans would say, this is the recipe and the actual Germans say, you're doing it wrong. And then there are some who don't know the difference between a Kartoffelpuffer and a Kartoffelpuffer and a Kartoffelpfannkuchen or Kartoffelkuchen. There's always something people like to dig in their heels and act like they know it all and everybody else is wrong. You need to, well, see, the thing is, Dave, the first time and every time I've ever heard pavlova is Australia. I've never associated pavlova with Scotland. Every time I've ever heard pavlova or seen pavlova, it's been with Australians or while I was in Australia or on Australian TV shows going back to the 80s. I've never heard any of the Scottish shows and people I know ever mention pavlova. You bringing it up now is the first time I've ever heard pavlova related to Scotland. I mean, it's not a surprise that in Australia it's something that came from the old mother countries. But yeah, I have never heard pavlova mentioned. Even when we were in Scotland, never saw it on a menu, never heard it mentioned. And so I've always associated pavlova with Australia. Oh, slang that way, am I wrong? Gotcha. Amarang is am I wrong in Glaswegian. Got it. Well, hello, Anthony of Choberton Junction. I caught a short or a post that you are moving along with new baseboards for your new layout after the very hard and well supported but sad decision to take out your old layout. That was a beauty. If I had ways and means and lived near you, I might have bought it off of you and then claimed I built it. Bacon is beer can in Jamaican patois. Yeah. We're gonna confuse people because I call Choberton Junction, I call him Anthony, and a lot of people call him Tony. But the reason he goes by Tony is because I go by Anthony. At least that's what he's told people. He says, well, I didn't want to be confused with Anthony Dodge, so you can say Tony. But I was like, what do your friends and family call you? He says Anthony. So, well, I'm going to call you Anthony. I'm not your friend. I'm not, well, hopefully I'm your friend in some way, shape, or form, some level. You know, I don't know if I'm anybody's best friend. There are some of you I consider my best friends. I just don't want to name you because every time I name somebody as a best friend, they drop dead. So, you know, I try to avoid that little social fatwa. Yeah, Chris, I do not like to be called Tony. In fact, if I'm in a chat room and people say Tony, I naturally assume they're not talking to me. And there are people who keep typing, hey, Tony, and I don't respond to it because I don't respond to Tony. There are people who go by Tony. I don't. Now, I was named Anthony. My parents and my siblings did call me Tony. In fact, when Joyce first met me, my family called me Tony. But I was always saying, I want to be called Anthony. I want to be called Anthony. I don't want to be Tony. I want to be Anthony. And part of that is because I was named after a mafia hitman who was Anthony Tony LaPaglia or LaPaglia or whatever his name was. And he was Tony. Hey, Tony. And I didn't want to be that. In high school, it was fine because we all called each other by our last names. Dodge, Mokri, Markle, Bergman, St. Aubin, Taylor, my friend Bill Taylor. Joe Leonard was Leonard. We called each other by last names, so my friends didn't have to call me Tony or whatever. But yeah, I preferred to be called Anthony. Probably beginning around the age of 16. But my family still called it. So the first time I met Joyce, well, they said you're Tony Dodge. I said, well, I prefer Anthony. But she would, early in our dating, she still would call me Tony. Now she refers to me as Anthony, but it took a few years before she would not refer to me as Tony. And every now and then, if she gets upset, it's still Tony. Tony, what'd you buy now? Who's Tony? Don't play that game with me. Yeah, Chris, we've all been there too. We've all been there because I think it's across all cultures. You know how much trouble you're in by how much of your name they use. My dad and my mom were no different. If my dad needed me for nothing important or just a chore and he wasn't in one of his psycho killer moods, he usually didn't call me by my name. I was one of his nicknames. Hey, Butch. Hey, buddy boy. Hey, son, come here. You know, even though he had 2 sons, if he said son, it was me. And then if my parents had something serious to discuss, but maybe not life-threatening, it was your full name. Anthony, get up here. Uh-oh. If they threw in your middle name, you knew pain was going to be involved. Anthony Scott. Uh-oh. That was trouble. The minute the middle name got thrown in, you were doomed. And if they threw in the last name, you weren't coming back. My dad would occasionally throw in my last name on Anthony Scott Dodge, and I knew it was going to be ugly. And you started crying. You started crying with Scott because you could tell he wasn't done. Anthony Scott! And, yeah, when they threw... Like, there's any other Anthony Scott in the house. Like, they have to throw in the last name. So, yeah, when they threw in the last name, you were not coming back. At least in one piece. My parents were the type that would knock you around and then yell at you for bleeding on the floor. You're spelled Anthony for your middle name. Yeah, I'm Anthony. A lot of people shorten it to Ant. UK guys shorten it to Ant. I guess I would say it doesn't bother me, but it sounds awkward. And I know a lot of guys in the UK, because of the Roman influence, they see Anthony. And some ask, they say, is it Anthony or do you go by Anthony? And I always say it's the TH, Anthony. Anthony. But I don't have a problem if people say Anthony, or if it gets shortened down to Ant. A few people shorten it down to Ant. It's not my preferred shortening of the name, but I don't mind it that much. Yeah, my dad went to high school, junior high and well, actually all levels of school with the guy. And they were good friends, and they played football, and they won 3 state championships together. And they were best friends, and I guess my dad didn't know the dude was in the mafia, or that was from a mafia family. But my dad always said, I love the name Anthony. I'm going to name my son after you. I'm going to name my first son after you. Well, I was the 4th kid. I was the 4th kid. So, and the first 3 were girls. So Anthony was a determined name. I was always jealous. My brother kind of got the cooler name in some ways. But it's hard to think of me having the name my brother. Because he was named after his great-grandfathers. His great-grandfather Dodge and his great-grandfather Reitz. So he was John Charles, named after John Dodge and Charles Reitz, who was actually Karl Reitz from Germany. But he anglicized it to Charles when he came over. Your cousins were Le Mans drivers. Man, Chris, you have had such an amazing history between what you've done and the people you know and what your family have done. He was the coolest guy you knew and wore a... Mark Wilson says football. Hello, Mark Wilson. Welcome in. Let's get united. My father, it was American football. State championships, American football. 3 straight years undefeated, Ohio State champs, 1948, 1949, and 1950. Holland High School. The town of Springfield, but it was called Holland High School back then. Now it's called Springfield High School. But my dad went 3 years undefeated, and they won 3 state titles. My dad was an all-state defensive lineman his senior year. He was all set to go to Ohio State. He was recruited by a guy named Wes Fessler, but he got drafted, went to Korea instead. Suffered an eye injury in Korea, and that ended his football playing days. And I don't think he ever got over it. I don't think his dream of, and he was dreaming of playing professional football when nobody dreamt of playing professional football. My dad had 2 passions, football and cars. Play football, race cars. Hello, Sir Alan Reynolds at Buckland Junction. How are you? But my dad really was pushing me to become the professional athlete of the family. That was his goal. He didn't want his son to be a doctor or a lawyer. He wanted his son to be a professional football player. Unfortunately, he was too poor to send me to camps to really get better training. And the school system I was in had canceled football except for high school. They used to have junior high level, which was 7th and 8th grade, and elementary level, 5th and 6th grade. So you'd start football in 5th grade. Well, they canceled that when I was in 4th grade. So I had no training other than my dad. And so by the time I got into high school, 9th grade, and could play football, I was several years behind all the private school kids who had been playing football since they were in 4th grade. And still, I made it to the football team. I was like 2nd string on the freshman team, which, is way down the line. 2nd string, defensive end, which is what they made me. I really wanted to be a linebacker, but they made me a defensive end. And they wanted to put me on offensive line. I said, hell no. I wanted to hit the guys, not stand around and only get yelled at when somebody got hit. But yeah, I wanted to tackle people. And I got to play in every game, but we played 10 games in the season. And during game 8, before game 8, I got called into my coach's office. Like, the game was on Thursday, and I got called in on Tuesday. And Coach Salieri asked me, he says, "Hey, Anthony, yeah? Is there something in your records you haven't told us?" "No." "You don't have any health problems?" No health problems." "Well, according to your medical records we were just looking up, you have 1 kidney." Yeah, I have 1 kidney." "How'd that happen?" "I was born that way." "Well, you can't play football." "What? You can't play football? How did you get this far?" "Because my doctor cleared me and said I could play." "Well, your doctor's insane. You have 1 kidney. You take 1 shot in the back, who knows what could happen." "Hey, Sir Digger Evans, how are you?" And I had to go home and tell my dad that I was off the football team. Now, did he threaten to sue and get me reinstated? No, he got pissed at me and called me a failure. And I got so mad at my dad, I said, "Hey, it was your DNA that, maybe you and Mom smoking and, chain smoking, maybe that had something to do with me being born with a birth defect where I have 1 kidney." Oh yeah, my dad let me know he was not happy with my talking back. Yeah, he was pissed at me for 2 weeks, and I'm like, it's not my fault. I was playing. They kicked me off. It wasn't even for behavior. Yeah, that ended my football career. So yeah, my dad and I was working. It was tough to. The year I was too young to get a quote real job, so I would go to football practice, which was right after school. I would leave football practice. We'd get done because we'd start practice about 3:30, get done 5:30. I would ride my bike from my high school to cross town to the Inverness Country Club where I was a caddy and try to catch somebody in the evening still trying to get 9 or 18 holes in and try to make a little money. And then I'd get up on Saturdays and I would be there at 6 a.m. double bagging and make money as a caddy. And somewhere I was still doing all my homework and other people's homework to make money. Hello, Crafty Budgie Mummy. You've been in the hospital. I'm sorry to hear that. Sir Voller of Valencia. Wallachia. Oh, Wallachia. I was reading Valencia. That's what happens when you predictive read. Hey, any name will work. I have been on this camera way too long. Somebody should have yelled at me. No. Oh, wait. Somebody's there. There we go. You're known as Sir Crashlight. Hey, Sir Mike of Putnam Junction. Welcome in. Welcome in. Now, Sir Voller, I don't know if you know the story. It's a long story, but I just refer to everybody who comes to my channel as a knight of the rhomboid table because I'm not cool enough to be at the round table. I'm not even hipster enough to be a knight of the square table. So I'm a knight of the rhomboid table. And I like to claim I was the first model train channel that made everybody got the blue spanner. And it became a joke that I would give it, "You've been spannered! You've been spannered!" I said, "Ah, yes, you've been knighted." And I started doing little jokes. "I know to declare you a knight of the rhomboid table." And it just stuck. So now we even have merch and t-shirts that some people actually have bought. Ointment is available for severe cases of rhomboids or rhombosis. My daughter even designed... Oh, it's not on this one. Sorry. Not there. Where is it? I thought I had it somewhere on one of these. My daughter even designed a logo for the Knights of the Rhomboid Table, a crest, a shield, which is really cool. But my daughter is very artistic and talented in these many fields, which she must have got from her mom's side, because she could have inherited from her grandmother on my side. My mother was a very talented artist. My mom was talented in many, many, many things. Unfortunately, she was also insane and wasted all her talents. The only thing I can draw are mosquitoes and gnats. That's about all I can draw, Raymond. I can't even draw stick figures without them looking horrible. If any of my former students were around, they would tell you all the funny stories of when I had to draw things on the board. I always did stick figures because I just could not draw, and even my stick figures were funny looking. Hey, there's Sir Brian of Finnerton. All right, Dirk, thanks for hanging out with us for a little bit. Really, really appreciate it. But yes, I must say I am much happier. You can draw the curtains. Well, yeah, I got that too. I can draw curtains. I've forgotten about that one, Andy. Thank you for pulling that one up. Mick did the same one. But then I'm usually too lazy to draw those. I wait for Joyce to shut them, to draw the curtains. Because we have a big window in our living room, and our TV is about 45-degree angle to that big window. So when it's nighttime and we're watching our very large television, you can see what we're watching on TV 3 blocks down. You really can. We'll be driving down the street towards our house, and what's that big light? Oh, yeah, that's our TV. Your art teacher, well, maybe he was drawing boobs and just claiming they were eyes. Oh, Chris, I'm jealous. Jealous to the point of hating you. I am so jealous. I wish I could draw. I can't draw. I actually have quick reflexes, good fingers, but I just never developed artistic skill, playing musical instruments, playing guitar. I never. And I certainly, and the thing is, that was the first time I was an outsider for many reasons, but everybody in my family could draw. My mom was a fabulous painter, and she painted everything. She would paint clothes, she would paint paintings for people, she painted their vans, whatever it was, she would paint it. You pay her a bit of money, and tell her what you want, she would draw it up. Is this what you want? Yeah. And then she would paint it on whatever they wanted it painted on. For this one guy in a motorcycle gang, he wanted Pegasus. And, name begins with the B, Greek myth, that rode Pegasus. Anyhow, he wanted that on his jacket, so my mom painted it, and that thing was legendary. It was hanging up when he died. It was hanging, they hung it up at the motorcycle clubhouse with a plaque saying painted by Roxy Dodge. I can draw a good sine wave. No, I can't even do that. Tangentially speaking. Joyce can draw. All my siblings could draw. My brother was not artistically a good drawer, but as a 10-year-old, he would sit down and draw his dream houses. And he really should have gone into architecture. He could draw hand-drawn blueprints, buildings that architectural design people would have loved. He could draw that. My dad could draw anything. My mom could paint and draw anything. My sisters could all draw. My brother could draw at least mechanical. I don't think he was great at drawing body, but like I said, he could draw buildings and scenery. He used to just constantly design his own dream house. Architect level drawings. Just blueprint quality. He was amazing. And I couldn't draw a damn thing. Plus, I'm the only lefty in many generations of my family. First time I realized that being left-handed was a bad giveaway. Besides, as a lefty and you see people shake hands, your natural tendency is to put out your left hand. You know, because that's the hand you use for everything. I'm a lefty, so you put out... my sister broke our vacuum cleaner, and, well, you didn't want Dad to know that the vacuum cleaner handle got broken. So I grabbed some tape, and I taped it up. And my dad had a bad day at work, came home, and he always had a bad day at work, and demanded somebody vacuum, got the vacuum cleaner out. We're vacuuming about 10 minutes later. He looked at the vacuum cleaner and said, "Wait a minute! Who broke the vacuum cleaner?" And, of course, when my dad said a voice like that, nobody said anything. Because the person who said I broke it was going to get broken. So I knew it was me, but everybody just went, "I don't know, Dad. It was like this when I found it." You know. And like 10 minutes later, my dad's looking at it and goes, "Anthony! Scott Dodge!" And you're like, "Oh, crap. Come here. You did this, didn't you?" "No." "Yes, you did." "No." "You did this. Don't you lie to me." It was taped by a left-hander. A left-hander goes this way, a right-hander goes this way. I didn't know we taped differently. But yeah, I am the only lefty among all my cousins, siblings, parents, grandparents, and their siblings. I was the first and only lefty that anybody in the family could remember. Choice's family has a couple of lefties, but they're kind of ambidextrous because they were Catholic and born at an age where you were discouraged from being left-handed. I wasn't Catholic, but my dad, for about a year or so, had me in a Catholic daycare when I was little because he could pick me up after work because it was close to where he worked, so he could drop me off and pick me up. And they had like a 150-year-old nun that anytime I would color or write would whack my hand with a ruler. And use your other hand. Like, no. And, well, you know, I remember there being a little meeting, and it's like, well, he's not coloring very well, and he doesn't stay within the lines. And I'm like, it's because my hand's crippled because you keep hitting it, you... Yeah, there's a lot of that's supposedly very true. Like Leonardo da Vinci was left-handed. I believe it was Rembrandt was left-handed. Yes, so it is maybe a bit of a stereotype, but in terms of the great artists of the world, left-handers are much more represented. And people talk about different parts of your brain's access, and your left hand is wired to the right side of your brain, so only lefties are in their right mind, those jokes. But yeah, I mean, I just, you know, you grew up realizing that a lot of things, if you're left-handed, a lot of the world is made for you, because in general, 7% of the population is left-handed. So we're rare. We're more valuable than you right-handers. 7%. But in certain groups, certain Native American tribes, the percentage of left-handers is much higher. Certain families, clans in Scotland, had very high percentages of left-handers, and they know this because the way they design their castles. Because everything from spiral stairwells to door frames and everything is designed to the advantage of a right-hander. And they're designed for military defensive purposes. A simple door. You always wonder why a door handle's on a certain side. It's because the guy inside has his right hand free and the door as a shield to defend the door. And the right-hander outside the door has the door in his way from using his weapon hand. Even saying hello or the Native American how, you do it with the right hand. Why do you handshake with the right hand? It's an old token showing I have no weapon in my hand. So we lefties were happy to do that. Hi, nice to meet you. Whack. Yeah, Leonardo was clearly a super genius. Wow, Tom, that would be amazing. It would be so weird to work in a place where most people were like me. But again, I mean, my mother should have been a good draw into the artistic side. But my mom never sat down with any of us kids and taught us how to draw, or at least by the time I came around. Maybe she did with my sisters. By the time I came around, my mom didn't sit down and try to teach you anything. Just stay out of the way and let her watch TV, and don't wake her up if she's sleeping. And my dad, I would beg my dad, because my dad could sit down. I remember as a kid, my dad, every now and then I could talk to him, Dad, draw me a World War I biplane. And he would just sit down, boom, Sopwith Camel. Boom, this one. And he would just draw me pictures. And those are some of the few really fond memories I have of my dad sitting down, now get out of here. And I was like, Dad, could you teach me how to draw that? No, I'm busy. Leave me alone. You know, and he's busy watching TV, you know. Good night, Alan. But it was crazy. So, yeah. And everybody in my family could sing except me. I have a horrible singing voice. My brother's is better than mine, but it's still bad. But my dad had a great voice. My mom had a great voice. My 3 sisters could all sing. My voice was horrid, is horrid. Anybody who's watched the videos where I sing knows. Every now and then I can pull it off. Every now and then, because I can do impressions. I can do voices. So, you know, the funny thing is the people who know my Matt Clark stuff and Rusty Twinger, when I did that Judas Priest song and I did the growl voice, a lot of people are like, oh, that's Rusty Twinger. I was like, no, that's my impersonation of Lemmy Kilmister. Just taken to an extreme. So I wasn't sounding like Lemmy Kilmister, but I started there and just went deeper with the growl. But yeah, that's the old joke. As I mentioned a little bit ago, Ray Bertelson, is the joke is because our brains are wired. They've now disproven that left-handers, yes, the right side of your brain does control more of the left side of your body, but it's actually more complex than that. But there are certain parts of the brain that were the artistic side. There's the mathematical reason section. And the problem is I'm very heavily both. The thing is, I just, you know, it's like a lot of people my age or younger that had the academic leans, they had access to computers and IT and stuff like that, and they went into IT and they became mechanical engineers and stuff. I had no access to any of that. We were kind of poor, and we did not have access to a lot of that stuff, and I just didn't know about it, and the kids I hung out with didn't know about it. I had access to a library, and my interest was going places and history. I loved reading about the past and reading about other places because I dreamt of being at other places. I did not want to be where I was, so I was big into history, military history, but I never, you know, I was a big war gamer, but my interest was just, I would learn something well enough that I thought I knew enough about it and then go on to the next topic. I hated it when people would talk about a topic and I didn't know what they were talking about. Which is why I graduated with 6 bachelor's degrees, but never got a doctorate because I would study something so far and say, I don't need to know any more about this. Men who are engineers tend to conspiracy theory. Well, I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theory. I'm aware of real conspiracies that happen that some people say aren't happening. But then there are the tinfoil hat people that there's this deep state plot trying to do this and eat babies and blah, blah, blah. And then you just go, those people are crazy. Speaking of non-crazy and artistic people, hi there. I know you. We met at a church once. Ka-ching. We were up to 46, and then I started talking, and we went down to 34. See, I gotta just shut up. Da 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 da. Nope. I'm trying to. Oh, Up, I say. Or let's try that way. Yeah, I'll get you the mic in a second.
Okay.
One microphone for you. And then we'll just
All
go
right.
to-
Hi, everybody. And hi, Tom. Hi, Raymond. Hello, Sean. Hello, Colin. Hello, Jake. Hi there, Andy. Hi
go.
there, Tom Houston. Hey, Nick. Hi there, Edward at Valley. Is that the right one? Maybe not.
No, Edward is Happy
It's
Valley.
Chris.
Chris is
Chris
Valley.
is Valley. That's right, Chris. Sorry.
Chris
Eddie.
is the not Happy Valley.
Yes, I got it. So, hello, Chilberton. Big hello to you, Sir Al. Hello, Mike. Thank you, Great Northern. We enjoyed our trip there very much. Hello, Carl. Hi there, Andrew. Hi there, Andy.
Wait,
This
where'd
is
the
not
number
happy
34
though.
come
Hello,
from?
Clintonville. You're miserable.
So you
Valley,
just
I'm
said
sorry.
your 30th anniversary?
No.
Andy, did you just say you had your 30th anniversary? Congrats.
Yeah.
If that's what it is.
Yeah.
Talking of which, I just hit the 30th anniversary. Congrats. Somebody said
That's
34,
nice.
16 over here. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure either.
Somebody mentioned 34.
Yeah, congratulations. That's a wonderful thing. I think told
Yeah,
you
I
I've been
got-
sick
I
all
got-
week.
I got my IQ tested a lot as a
Hi,
kid, and even from
Benefitton.
West Point. I got tested a lot.
Uncali Valley. You like that better, okay?
Uncanny Valley.
I said that wrong, but it is what it is.
Because we are going on 38.
Yes, we're hitting 38 this
38 years married.
year. 38 this year. Yeah, we've been together a long
38
time.
in 2 months
Yeah,
and 10 days. Well, 9 days.
so. Oh,
That's right, Mick. You never walk alone.
that's right. Hello, Mick.
Walk on
And just anybody I
Walk
didn't say
on
hello, I need
with
to tell you.
hope in your heart.
I think it's a hard song to sing.
It is a hard song to sing.
Yes.
Every song is a hard song for me to sing.
Yes, but I always feel like that one's a real hard
I
one
don't
to
think
sing.
you could sing it either.
No, I can't.
Nope.
Hi, Leslie. You can tell I'm congested. I have been sick all
Well,
week
Chris,
with
if
no
you see it
energy.
as a punishment, then yes. That was the first time I heard that joke. I think it was a Benny Hill joke. It was done by Benny Hill, like, my wife and I just divorced after 25 years of marriage. It was miserable. Every year was miserable. Oh, and we just got divorced. Then why are you crying? Because I would have only served 20 years if I'd killed her.
Oh, jeez.
I'd be getting out of prison now and free.
Oh, jeez. Well, we're well suited to each other.
You feel ripped off buying digital albums? I know what you mean, but I just, yeah, I mean, storing the cases, all the machinery, or the albums, the vinyl. And I like to cause fights with all the music tech people because I prefer CDs over albums.
Still remember,
I prefer digital over
remember
vinyl.
them saying on FM radio, you've got to hear this. You've got CDs. The
All my
sound
wives
is
have been lovely
amazing.
people.
I should take a nap.
Why didn't you?
I don't know. Let's see, there's about stuff up at one of them.
The artwork is better on an album, but I mean, they do the artwork whether it's going on a CD or an album. You know, the artwork's separate. Now, maybe CDs, because they're smaller, encourage people.
Yeah.
But I just think it's the
It's
media
happening.
today. I just,
Something like that.
you know, there was a time, I mean, if you look at albums before, let's say Sgt. Pepper's
Oh,
even,
isn't that
or
true?
before the Beatles,
Yeah.
there was not a lot of artwork. It was just people with bad haircuts standing there grinning. And then the Beatles, their first album was just them in that tower, Please Please Me, you know. But then their second album was really one of the first albums trying to be artistic, where you had Robert Freeman do the half-shaded faces, sort of the black and white, half-shaded. And that was like one of the first albums that, of its era, when it came out, people went, oh, that's different. And from that point, the Beatles, most of their albums, now Help was not,
too inspiring.
you know, Hard Day's Night and Help were not great albums, but, you know, Rubber Soul is a fantastic album cover.
So terrible.
Revolver, and then of course Sgt. Pepper's.
Indeed, Leslie.
And so everybody had to do a great album cover, and then I think it just died out. We went back to very boring and plain album covers.
Oh, I've seen some CD covers that are pretty cool.
Yeah. You can't beat the crackle of an LP. If that's what you like. I don't like the crackle of an LP. I like hearing it without the...
Yeah.
Because they don't ever recreate the crackle. I mean, if I go to a concert and they recreate the crackle, then it might be worth having the LP.
I guess. I don't know. No, it's not a sound
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, you don't want to hear it in the middle of a song. Just when you're putting the... I had my own pops and scratches from the original LP.
Oh, Tia, Andy, that's funny.
That
I
is
could probably
funny.
see myself doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, the first time I had Pink Floyd on Dark Side of the Moon on a DVD with headphones. Oh wow, was that? Yeah, Leslie CDs sound terrible when you put the needle on them.
Yeah, right. And we are kind of all of an age here, aren't we? Some a little older, some a little younger, but it's all of
I also thought
all of an
8-track.
age.
I thought 8-track sounded better than cassette, but you could have 10 cassettes or 4 8-tracks.
Right.
Plus, 8-tracks had that sucky bit where it was hard to fast forward. And a cassette, you could just flip it over and get to the other side of the album. The cassette, you had to hit a button twice, and it was in the middle of the song on the other side of the tape. But quality of tape was better, and the music quality was better.
I remember the 8 tracks, but I don't remember the 8 tracks. I don't remember how you loaded them. I don't remember how you did them.
No, you just shoved them in like a cassette.
Yeah, okay.
It just was a much bigger.
I mean, it was a big deal in my house. I remember that. So the CDs, it was the radio.
Well, yeah, your dad kind of scoffed at CDs at first, and then he bought that little thing, and he and your mom loved them.
Yeah,
he started listening to his
so
classical concerts on
But
CD,
we
and
all
he was
know
like,
this too. It's so frustrating to get all that music, on a system, and then a new system comes in, and you have to start over. And
yeah, you have to start over.
that's so discouraging.
Muppet Movie Soundtrack. No, I had Devo's first couple albums on 8-track. I had Beatles' greatest hits on.
I kind of would like the Muppet movie. You should try them on it if you can find
Oh, I've
it.
tried showing it to him.
Nope.
Yeah, no, I want to watch Paw Patrol.
Yeah, I hear you.
I had a few albums because my dad would not let us play our music in his car, and his car was the one with 8-track. And when I finally got my own car and installed a cassette radio, it was cassette. There was more stuff available on cassette, and cassette was cheaper. Plus, it was easier to make your own stuff on cassette.
That's right.
You'd stick it by the radio and record your favorite songs with a cassette recorder.
Yep.
The music quality was terrible, but it was cheap. It was free.
And you had it. You had that song. You could listen anytime you wanted.
But I had Beatles' greatest hits. I can't remember all the albums I had on 8-track because I only had about 8 8-tracks. Because like I said, once I got my driver's license, before I got my own car, my dad would let me drive the car. But oh my God, if I left one of my 8-tracks in the car because I forgot to take it out, bringing in groceries or something like that, my dad bashed them.
Oh, you got your dad into Genesis. I had maybe a 4-song limit of Genesis.
I never got my dad into any music.
I didn't get mine into either.
Yeah, your dad didn't modernize
He got
either.
mine into a few. Oh, Daddy boy, That's not right.
Willie is complaining about what you're making him for supper.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. I don't want that. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Well, there was my dad's answer, which maybe we all follow. I didn't do it to my kids, though. You'll eat it and you'll like it. I'd be like, well, I'll eat it, but I ain't gonna like it.
Fried egg sandwich. Pizza. I don't know what we're gonna have for dinner tonight. Still not hungry. There was no meat with mine today.
Well, yeah, Brian, my household, despite all the negative stuff that came out of it, one of the things I loved about my household growing up is there was always music.
Yeah.
And everybody had a different genre of music. Like, my dad listened to big band and swing music from his childhood in the 30s and 40s, and he didn't like much after that. My mom was country western and 50s rockabilly rock and roll, from Buddy Holly to Elvis and blah, blah, blah. In fact, her brother was in the same platoon as Elvis, and my mom had pictures of where she would go to visit her brother and Elvis was there, and my mom sitting next to Elvis Presley.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So many people say that.
Probably the most famous anybody in our family
Mara.
ever met. Hey, Mara, hello. My sisters grew up in the 50s, or were born in the 50s. I came along early to mid 60s, so the music of the 60s was my childhood music. The 70s, God, I hated disco, so I went into punk rock. Hated disco. Still hate disco.
Yeah. My older sister.
And then my grandfather
folk
was
music.
old time folk music. You know, everything from Woody Guthrie, but you know, folk music. Jazz was around a little bit, but just all the classic crooners, Nat King Cole. So. And we grew up with that polka music, German and Polish polka music every Sunday on the radio. And so we were exposed to all the music. And while my parents and my grandparents hated our music, we did not necessarily hate theirs. Well, my sisters would get that way, but I didn't. I liked it. I love listening to Jimmy Dorsey, Glenn Miller, and
music,
all that. I loved it.
So I had a lot of piano playing in my house.
The one thing we didn't have in my family was classical music. We didn't have, my family didn't have classical music. Joyce's family was very classical music.
Yeah.
Her parents sang for the Chorale Society for the Toledo Symphony
Baroque.
Orchestra.
That's swell.
What's that?
He loved Baroque. So he liked some pop stuff like Paul Simon and Pink Floyd. I actually could see why he'd like Pink Floyd from Baroque.
And so when I met Joyce
I love Vivaldi.
and saw, but even before I met Joyce, meeting people with that classical music, I felt ignorant, and I don't like feeling ignorant. So I tried to study and learn the difference between certain elements of classical, you know, Bach versus Mozart versus Beethoven, Brahms, and that. And I became a huge Mozart fan long before the movie ever came out and made him popular.
Gregorian chant to Debussy.
I'm not, you know, I never have an era to a degree, but in classical music, I like the classics of classical music. I'm not big into the modern classical music. I really don't know it. I tend to listen to rock and roll. So I'm ignorant. I learned enough about jazz that I could appreciate some jazz, but only in small doses. And most jazz, I don't.
I like almost all music live. I just really appreciate watching, the talent, watching them play it, and it sounds just so wonderful from those musicians. So I don't have much patience for jazz, but I really enjoyed a jazz festival we went to.
Yeah, because for a couple of years I worked with Jazz Society at Toledo as part of a project I was in, and I got to meet some top jazz musicians of the time. I don't remember who they were.
3 Bs, right?
Bach, Beethoven, Beatles, the 3 Bs.
Yeah.
But in classical, I am a Mozart guy. Bach is brilliant.
It is. I think I've met a few people who did not
But
grow up with music, and that's just so foreign to me. And we had music on all the time with our children.
Yep.
And so, you know, they all played instruments, and so we very strong music in our house.
Yeah, all I can tell you
There's a
about
lot
the
of music on YouTube.
all I can tell you
That's
about the
full of-
music that is in my quote theme song, and actually there's a couple other channels that use the same song, but it was free. It's free music built
free.
into my
Yeah.
editing software called Nero Video, and it's one of their free songs they have in it.
Right, and it's not you. It's very jazzy, and it's not really your preferred
Dun,
music.
dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun, dun. I don't know if I'd call that jazz.
Oh, I totally think it's jazz. Oh yeah, no,
Disco,
we were
disco duck.
we both avoided disco, though we didn't know each other at the time. I went for Zeppelin and hard rock.
Yeah. Because I am a Beatlemaniac. I am a
I
Beatlemaniac. Joyce
understand.
likes the Beatles, but Joyce would not even say the Beatles are her favorite band.
Oh, they're up there.
They're up there. But Zeppelin.
It's pure respect, though.
And you have to.
Yeah.
You don't have to like the Beatles, but you better damn respect them.
Yeah.
The stupidest thing anybody can say in a music conversation about pop music is go, "Oh, the Beatles are overrated."
Yeah,
Look, you
indeed.
don't have to like the Beatles, but if you think they're overrated, you just
You don't know the
removed
Beatles.
yourself. You just removed
You
yourself
don't
from
know what
any
they did.
respect
Yeah.
in a conversation.
Folk Irish music, Márklin.
Like, I like country music too, but I like old country. I don't like anything beginning around 1980,
Oh, okay.
1981,
Yeah, with
when
George
country
Harrison.
really went country pop and the line dancing stuff. You know,
yeah.
when it switched from Hank Williams Sr.
To Hank Williams
and Glenn
Jr.
Campbell and became, Hannah Montana's dad. Cyrus, Billy Ray Cyrus. When it became
yeah.
Billy Ray Cyrus and that crap, and all these guys that talk like this, but the minute they sing, they sound like this. You know, the fake accents, and the fake patriotism. I don't want to turn that into political,
Right. Yeah, stop right there, baby.
but yeah.
Yeah, Raymond's talking about railroad. That's a good idea. Making good progress on their locos. Getting the old pennies long haul tender cut out, work short for several years. Cool. Is the fish guy in here?
Yes, that's Clintonville.
That's what I
The
thought.
same guy. See, he's got double influence. It is because of him that this beauty is now here,
Why?
and he's the fish
Oh,
guy.
because he gave you the...
He found the link.
Oh, good for you, Clintonville. Yeah.
He's Brian.
I gave my... Brian, okay. Brian, I cold watered my my school
Yes,
fish.
Mr. Bond. I expect you to run 3 rail.
I cold watered my school fish because, you know, there's like 8 of them in there and, you know, they're fish. And so they were my guinea pigs and they seemed fine. So I said the heck with it, did the bigger, the fuller
So he's
tank
got you
is, not
going on
bigger.
fish. He's got you going on fish, and he got me.
So anyway, I cold watered them and they
You expect
actually
me-
were perkier with the cold water. So, what the heck? That's a lot easier than trying to match a stupid temperature. Got it down to 68 in there.
You expect me to go digital? You expect me to go DCC, Mr. Brofeld? No, Mr.
63
Bond. I expect you to go
beside
3
me,
rail.
Once a week, 50%? I do once a month. Is that bad? I change the filter and do 50% change.
Well, I don't know, honey. You are a woman. Once a month seems natural, doesn't it? Change your water. Change, once a month. But yeah, Lemmy Kilmeister's speech about the Beatles versus the Stones was one of the best takedowns. And you can never talk about that with Rick from
No, I
Well Chucked Railways because
procrastinate
he's a
at
Stones
times.
fan.
Yeah, the Stones did some good music.
I
It's
like a lot of
just,
Stones songs, but I think they were a bit derivative. And to be honest, there's a little bit of imitative
there's
fake to them.
There's a place in the
There's a
music
place
world
for them. They were more bluesy than the Beatles. I get that, but the thing is, it was almost as fake as the Monkees. The only difference is the Monkees didn't tend to write their own songs, but there are a bunch of actors playing music, except for Mike Nesmith, who was a great songwriter. Because the funny thing is, my favorite Monkey songs are all the songs they wrote themselves.
Never worry about that, Greg. We're so glad to see
Greg.
you. And
Don't
hello
worry.
to Heather.
And hello to Heather.
And
Love and hugs to all of you.
oh, they
Wow,
make
my
you spin.
James Bond
yeah, I
bit
bet
didn't
they
get anybody
do.
going. Wow, that was a shame.
So 2 times a month.
I was working hard on that.
They'll be healthier.
Go ahead, ignore me. Everybody does. I'm just sitting there babbling, and you are totally ignoring me. I know you're reading the fish stuff. I've lost my wife to the guy talking about fish.
They sure are happy to eat the twice a day I feed them. I don't overfeed them though; they just get a little bit, and like you say, the home guys gotta compete for it. Huh? You're allowed to like cheesy
You expect
stuff.
me to run that train, Blofeld?
Hi there, Randall.
No, Mr. Bond.
Come on, I like shoes. Don't fail me now.
No, Mr. Bond. I expect you to convert it to digital.
I thought that was a fun song.
What song?
Feet don't fail me now.
Oh.
Shoes don't fit feet, right?
Yeah, it's Feet Don't Fail Me Now. That was Todd Rundgren.
Todd Rundgren, yeah. That's a stupid song, but I like it.
Because he also did, well, on that same album, he did the one that
Hi there, Attila.
Bang on the Drum All Day. That
still
was Bang on the
Attila.
Drum All Day was the
Yeah,
silly one.
right.
I want to bang on the drum all
Oh,
day.
yes, but it had a
I don't want to work.
You can bang your
I
head
want to bang on the drum all day. No, but see, I like it when you get like, what is it, 10 Years Gone? The Stone song, not Stone, the
song?
Zeppelin song, 10 Years Gone.
Oh, there's several songs.
Yeah, there's
me,
a couple of Stone
they
songs.
get me moving.
Yeah, there's a couple of Zeppelin
I had one
songs that she
upstairs that
starts
would get me
swaying to,
moving.
and I'm like, I'll just sit down and watch now. A little bit of adult humor here, a little adult
yeah.
perspective, but
Yeah,
there's a
Bon-
couple of
Bon
Zeppelin
Billy's
songs
ears.
that I just turn on and say, okay, Joyce, you can begin now.
So anyway, who did I miss coming in? I said hi to Attila,
Oh, Attila Varga is here in a way.
and somebody else came in. Oh, Randall. Hi, Randall. Maybe he didn't come in. I just didn't catch him.
He was here. Yeah.
I didn't call you the fish god for nothing. Okay then. Gosh, I really procrastinated on the last
I never got called a god. I was called Walking
I made myself
Encyclopedia
do it
by
last
teachers
Saturday.
and students, but never god.
Yeah.
I never had.
Oh, come on. That was one of my favorite teacher stories.
No, I was the softball god at one time.
Yeah, you were a softball god.
That's right, I was the softball guy. Except my real
Oh,
nickname.
I know custard pie.
What was my most
yeah, and
known
I did.
nickname?
I Googled it because you said something to it. I don't know. I wasn't that impressed with it. It just sounded typical Zeppelin.
What was my most common nickname
That
in the
was my
softball
favorite.
world? What was my most
Wheels.
famous Wheels?
Yeah,
Yep.
you were Wheels.
I was
There's
Wheels.
4 conversations going on here. I'm getting dizzy. You know, I mean, I do all Zeppelin, so, you know, it's not shocking. Hey, Zantac. Hey, Mark.
Hello, Mark of Zantac. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
You thin this out. No, it's just getting curly. You're not used to it.
Well, we did have a spike in temperature and humidity today, so you are a little puffier.
Yeah. I don't think I want to go that big. Two by 4 feet, 10-inch tall. And I'm sort of thinking around the 30-gallon level.
Yeah, she's thinking 30. I had 255.
We
big
did have
55s.
255s. And I don't know. They were nice.
The problem is
We
they
kept
were great
getting-
for a couple of years, and then we just, all of a sudden, one of them got disease, and we just could never, for the next several years, just could never
We
not.
kept getting Plecos that would grow well over 30 centimeters. And finally, at someone at a pet store, we'd buy those. And I'm like, oh, you would?
We would get too big. They would get too big, and they would swim into areas and then get pinned and couldn't get out.
They couldn't get out. They knock everything down in the tank.
Or they couldn't get in. They dropped. They died. They starved to death. Anybody seen the Pleco? Oh wait, he's under there. What's left of him? But we'd buy algae eaters. We'd buy algae eaters, but the minute you put the flake food in, they'd eat the flake food and not eat the algae.
Yeah.
And somebody said get Plecos, and then Plecos. Oh yeah, well Plecos grow to the size of the tank. They don't stop growing.
Yeah, we were told it wouldn't get bigger than the tank. Well, that thing was getting bigger than the tank. But they said they'd happily buy them back, so I don't know. I don't know.
Wow. Raymond, you got the wrong type of music going, or the right kind, but at the wrong time.
Yeah, well, it's hard to keep up, though. Yeah, it's not going to stay warm.
Oh, you're getting more crap weather there, Randall?
Yeah, I would expect he is.
Dwarf Plecos, max is 6 inches. Well, I don't recall any of our fish shops ever having dwarf
yeah,
Plecos.
but we maybe could get it at that shop.
At the one guy's shop, yeah.
He's good.
Well, before we invest in that again, we'll have to think about it and decide exactly where it's going and what's getting moved. We have that table because we decided not to rearrange the living room. That doesn't fit.
Yeah,
We got to do something with
I'm
that.
thinking, if we put the smaller tables, would it fit in the middle?
Yeah, but where are you going to go with the 2 big tables then?
Next to ours? Would be too clunky chunky?
Oh, it would seem a little weird, but...
Yes, they did us on Hot Dog. Yeah, you guys are really in a zone right now, Randall. They are suggesting here, but late and probably not that severe because it's so late.
Yeah, so a real Plego could get 3 feet. Wow.
A Bristol nose.
But I used to love tiger
I'll buy
barbs.
that.
I used to love tiger barbs in big schools because if you get tiger barbs in big schools, they were active with each other, but they didn't mess the other schooling fish, so they could be in a community tank.
Had the last tank we had
But
was
you
run
just couldn't
over
keep 'em
by
alive.
skirted tetras.
Yeah.
We couldn't kill them. They just kept reproducing, and they took over the entire tank, and we'd had enough of it. Yeah, we couldn't
Jumping
kill
Frog
them.
of Albuquerque. Put the tables down here and extend the layout. There's no problem with extending the layout
That's
other
all I
than
keep
walking
trying
space.
to expand your layout. I don't know. I think we've got a pretty big footprint on this lot here. We really couldn't do too much.
Trust me, when I built this, I tried to talk her into removing the one closet that's still standing over here. It was like,
Really
no, we
want
need that
to
for
keep
storage.
The closet.
That's the toy closet. We did take out that
we
closet.
need the children who are married to take the stuff out of that closet.
Yeah, we do need our, but their homes are already packed with all their other crap.
I don't care. That's a whole. That's a Sunday thing.
Oh
Go
God.
down in that closet and see what you want to keep.
There's a lot of things in there I want to keep.
What they want to keep.
Yeah, but like all the Legos there, most of that's Liz's. She's gonna keep that.
Liz can keep what Liz wants. But
And then there's the
stuff up
family
there
games.
that's
We can
not.
get rid of some of the family games because we don't really play family games anymore.
Lamia fish.
Limia?
Lamia. Hi, Mystic.
They're alive bearing like guppies and mollies, but take 40 days not.
Yeah, it sure has been, Randall.
Don't have as many babies. Yeah, because you do what? Guppies now?
Right now I have guppies. For some reason
And
they
they
felt like a
breed.
good. Yeah, they breed like
They
crazy.
breed.
They felt like they were a good school fish.
Yeah, I caught you were still on. I went to bed, and you, and then Jeff from Jeff's Model N&O scale, or HO, N&HO scale, he went live for about 20 minutes, but yeah, I went to bed.
Yeah, we did. I believe the comment was, what the heck is he on so late?
Twister
for?
doesn't take up much space. Depends on how you play it, Artie,
Who you play it with.
and who you play it with, and how dressed you are.
Right. This just keeps drifting.
Just a little.
Yeah.
Why not?
You're in a mood.
We're all adults here.
Oh, mostly.
I'm in a mood.
Have you seen,
We're adults by age.
have you seen Kai?
No,
Hey,
I haven't seen Lindy or Kai.
okay. Sometimes that's a cue to perk up.
But, you know, we got all the old games. But there are
Hey,
some old
y'all,
games in
if
there
you
I don't
haven't
want to
hit
get
the
rid
like
of.
button, please hit the like button. Oh, that didn't connect.
No, that
at
was
all.
terrible.
Oh, Daisy's
And
got a
Andy
cold.
Ambrose is here, one of the old lovers of, was here. I don't know if
Daisy's
he's
got
still-
a cold.
Daisy, yeah, Joyce has been
she
sick
can't
all
be
week.
sick. She can't be
Fever
sexy.
and chills and all sorts of things.
Yeah, legally adults. Isn't that the truth, Mark?
Growing old is mandatory, growing up is optional.
Indeed.
As Joyce always does, she looks at me and says, behave, and I look at her and say, I am behaving badly. Oh yeah, that was after I left. That was after I left that they crashed. Oops. It didn't slow down, it just kept going. Croaky Daisy. Daisy has a frog in her throat.
Yeah, she
Or,
sure does.
or more like a mare.
It's kind of been awful.
You're starting to sound like Mayor Sunbish. Or worse, Rusty.
That's a pretty fish.
Or worse, you sound like the Limia.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is kind of cool.
Got a fancy tail?
Yeah.
Kind of iridescent in the
Yeah,
tail?
you can have a school of those. Just got to get rid of the cats.
Extinction status. They're not extinct.
Extinction status. Not extinct.
Good.
Aw, because I wanted to start my fish tank with an extinct fish. I was all set to go coelacanth, then they found one and they threw it out. How are the kitties? They're still alive, which means I'm miserable.
Oh, the males are. This is the humpback. No, the Limia vittata.
The what?
Limia vittata. The males are
Hakuna Matata.
50 millimeters and the female's 100 millimeters. That's a long fish.
That is a long fish. That's a big one. That's 10 cents. That's 4 inches long.
Artie's locked and Sydney's Alcatraz. Yeah. How are the kitties?
That's what I just answered. I said they're alive, which means I'm miserable.
They're still banned from the living room, and we're a lot happier.
Hit the like button, gentlemen. Not now, Miss Coggett. Gotta start getting in the voices.
The stream was wiped out. The zebra placo, huh? Oh. Longfish Londonplex. Well, yeah.
Yeah, but you would think in some of those cases, breeders still had them. You know, when something is being sourced a lot, you're going to have guys that breed them, and you'd think breeders would have kept it alive. I've noticed certain things like cardinal tetras. When I started in the fish hobby, cardinal tetras you could walk in the store any day of the week, and then by the time I was still in the hobby, but really thinking of, I went down to one, I could not find cardinal tetras. Nobody had cardinal tetras.
Yeah, those were his favorite. Say, I have a fondness for the 3-dot Dorados. I had one bit me. He was a survivor.
And Velodon tank, cats sorted. Oh yeah, I could get a couple of Prada. Okay, I think
cool.
I misread something, Sonny.
Yeah, I sure hope so, Attila. Keep waiting for news. Cardinals are different. Yeah, they are.
Build a new living room.
Anyway, I
Trying
guess.
to see what Attila said about Artie.
Oh, he's locked in at Alcatraz, Australian Alcatraz.
He's locked in Australian Alcatraz.
Crazy.
He's got kangaroos around him going, "You got a pretty mouth."
Oh dear.
How's our pilot mackerel tomorrow? Holy mackerel.
Oh, that's cool, Randall. As long as you don't end up in Twister. They turn on my storm chasers, and
Uh-oh.
they've been in Missouri a lot. Do kangaroos sound like Artie? Artie?
Eastbound and I'm loaded up and trucking. Thank ye, thank ye.
She just got ice cream for dinner.
Do kangaroos sound like
I think we could go lickety. Somebody could go.
Arnie? Do kangaroos sound like Arnie? I don't know who
Yeah,
Arnie is.
He meant Artie.
Artie, he meant Artie. Do kangaroos
Artie's
sound like
saying
Artie?
the
Only the
shape
ones that are
boxes.
closely related to him. There's been a lot of cross-fertilization.
I'd hate to think in that tank.
No, the Roos that he used to spar with, Ray, they quit because one punch and Artie was out.
Why do you have 3 lanes of your program track?
I don't. I have 1 lane of programming track and 2 lanes of testing track, which are on a totally different circuit,
I
not
see.
connected to the Central Station
Right.
3.
Right.
And that's also what Kyan gets to play shunting on when he wants to play.
Gotcha. Okay. Can't shoot nobody for him to shoot.
You expect me to talk, Goldfinger? No, Mr. Bond. I expect you to die.
Your world changes a bit when Cheyenne's out. What time does she get out? You know, just is it end of May or is she going to June, Randall?
I'm just school. Been talking a lot about school today. Ran into a former student while we were out to get brunch.
Yeah. Oh no, we were grocery shopping.
Oh, that's right. It was grocery shopping. Well, we technically got brunch for other days.
Yeah, students, for us, our students' last day, middle of May. Okay, ours are done May 23rd. I'm done May 28th and on a plane in the afternoon.
Yep. Joyce has to go in on May 28th, say, "Here's my key,"
Wow, we don't
and
fly
then a
till
couple hours
8.
later,
That's
you're on a plane.
Wow, that's
Few hours later.
That's a lot of hours later.
I do like that straight flight, though.
Oh yeah. for
Much
sure.
better than let's fly here, sit for 3 hours, and let's fly there.
Oh, indeed.
It's hard to believe in a couple of months I'm going to be waking up in Germany.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually,
Randall.
we'll be in Denmark at this time, 2 months from now.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Taking my hoodie.
May.
Hey,
June.
no,
No. It's the 18th. We'll be in Rostock.
Oh, so we'll be done with Denmark.
We'll be done with
Think I
Denmark
can
in
find
2
a
months.
Denmark hoodie?
They're Vikings. They don't do hoodies. They do bearskin vests.
There's that. Any tourism? Probably in big city we're going to.
Copenhagen.
Yep, I
Or
was
in German,
close.
Copenhagen.
Copenhagen, yeah.
Copenhagen.
Maybe there we'll find a gift store. Maybe.
Well, actually, he's got a little off shop. There's a, like what's up at Birch Run in Abeltoft. Abeltoft is a bit of a tourist town.
Okay, cool.
According to Jean Ricard.
I'm looking forward to it, Jean, very much.
He's probably asleep. You probably just woke him up.
I may be dead. Did you stop over on your way to hell?
No, actually, Attila Varga, our stopover on the way to hell is usually somewhere around Hawaii.
I really enjoyed that little offshoot. Got the t-shirt prove it.
Well, Ray Bertelson, all I can say is, since Artie's not here, is that the most dangerous thing to Artie is Artie.
Well, that's true.
No, Xantec.
Hell is in Norway,
Hell is about 40 miles north of Toledo.
Michigan.
And in the winter, I can go throw a snowball in
Yeah,
hell.
it does snow in hell. Yeah.
It snows in hell, and you can throw snowballs in hell.
It's a great joke. You can send a postcard from hell.
Yep, we even send a postcard from hell. In the summer, it can get really hot in hell.
Actually, Andy, I agree that they can be fun. Very often, we will find kind of the tourist gadgets we want, but you know, which was good for them. Otherwise, the crowds could be too much. It was like Clinton Hill and Niagara Falls
Clifton
area
Hill.
there. Yeah, that's a fun area.
Clifton Hill is fun, but it's a lot of stupid
We
things to
don't
take your
even
money
go.
as
We
well.
don't, there is a ton of
But
ways.
it's fun to
do
walk
that.
through it and see it,
It
and then go
is
down to
fun
the
to
falls
watch. We
because the
don't have
falls
to
are
go
free.
into anything. You know?
Yes, Xantec, that is Hell, Michigan.
Yes.
Well, I don't know how it all worked out. All I know
Yeah.
is
We didn't plan it, that's for sure.
we didn't plan it. Yep.
We had to put the pieces together.
We got a day in Hawaii out of the blue, and it was the worst thing because now a certain somebody wants to go back and spend more time there.
And just a few days.
That would be more time.
They didn't want to spend a week, just a couple days.
Oh, you can't go there and spend a couple days. We've learned at least 4.
Well, when I'm retired, we can go for a long time.
According to St. Thomas Aquinas, hell is freezing. Yeah, it's burning fire, but no light and no heat. Nah, they couldn't make up their minds. Imagine a place all afire, but it's freezing cold and there's no light. Wait, there's fire. How is there not?
That would be miserable, to be really cold and not be able to warm up even though there's fire around. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. If you want to torture someone. I, for one, do not like to be cold.
Well, hello, Heath.
Hi, Eve.
Oh, the cardiologist said everything looks good. That's good.
Yeah, that is good, Randall.
But yeah,
Right, it's a right step.
but get on the cholesterol
We
meds.
check our
Yep.
cholesterol every year.
Fiji is fantastic,
Yeah.
Joyce. You can go island hopping.
That's kind of what the thought was. Stop in Hawaii on the way there and Fiji on the way back.
Yeah, the
No,
problem
we're
with
only coming
classrooms,
one
they
more
better have
time.
lots of curtains because it may be nice to sit there and look out, but I don't want people looking in.
You don't want the fish looking at you.
I wasn't worried about the fish.
Scuba divers.
The scuba divers.
People snorkeling.
Hey, guys, this apartment's got a glass floor. Bet they don't know that.
Don't wear a dress. Yeah, they sure would be. That's good to hear.
All right, good night, Brian.
Chris.
Well, Chris, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, you know,
Well,
that's,
maybe we'll put a
so
post on that. Chris, Valley's 56XS has a nice ass. Signed, Doctor.
hey, those little things are good for our, you know, sense of worth.
What's that?
Those little things are good to our sense of worth.
What
when you
little
get a
thing?
compliment like that.
Yeah.
I had a radiologist tell me I had a really long femur. What do you do with that? Thanks.
Wow,
I
you
don't
got a
know.
really long femur.
I've got a long femur.
How does that work?
What's it good for? I don't know. I
Because
don't-
you're short. How do
I
you?
don't
How can
have-
you be? Well,
I
all right.
don't
You're
have long legs.
for a woman. You're short for
I'm very average.
the last
height.
20 years. When you were born, 5'7" and a woman was considered tall. Now, our daughters, hey, Clive, Sir Clive, our daughters who are 5'11"
Okay.
each, although one will argue, I'm only 5'10" and a half.
Right.
I think it's more like one's 5'11" and one's 5'11" and
Lynn's
an
a little
8.
tall, or Liz is a little taller.
Is she?
Yeah, that's what they
All
just
right.
told me the other day.
But yeah, our two daughters are tall. But then again, compared to their
Yeah.
dad, they're not tall. Because I'm still 4.5 inches taller.
I am the shrimp in the family, that's for sure.
You are the
Yeah,
shrimp.
I'm okay with that.
I'm 6'3" or so. AJ is 6'2",
Yep.
6'1" and a half, 6'2". Is Val taller than you two?
Nah. Well, I don't know.
I don't think
we're
Chris
pretty
is
close
taller
eye
than
to
you, is
eye.
he?
No, he's not.
Aha! So Kyan's the shortest right now.
Yes, Ryan is the shortest. He won't stand up.
Kyan could grow up to be 6'6" or 5'5".
Yeah.
6'6" or 5'5".
Hard to tell.
Well, there's that. I'm trying not to die of anything.
Worked so far.
I have a plan.
A
I
finished
have
plan?
a clever plan, a cunning plan.
Cunning plan.
I have a cunning plan, my lord.
Oh, Baldrick.
Oh, Baldrick, to you, the Renaissance was something that just happened to other people, wasn't it?
His insults were good. Oh, look, is everybody running well today?
What?
Everybody running well today?
Yeah. I think we've had a good day so far, because,
Okay.
yeah, it is coming close on that wrap-up time.
Yeah, because your two ones below are look good. From the DC layout.
A cunning plan so cunning you can pin a tail on it and call it a weasel. Throw me into a dryer. No, I won't shrink. I'll come out with a lot of bruises, but I won't shrink. And
That's
your
true.
dryer will never work again.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe not everybody.
No, Artie's a bit of a hobbit himself. But that became the running joke after our trip to the UK in 2022. Every time we met a YouTuber, they were like, "You're taller than you look
Yeah.
on camera." Yeah, because I'm sitting down. You have your two pencils handy.
Yeah.
As cunning as a fox which studied at the University of Cunning. Oh, all these Blackadder comp great.
Right, yeah.
SJB Media,
Oh,
welcome
this
in.
cracks. Yep. Rest in peace, Dryer.
Dryer.
Hobbit is an understatement. Oh, no, actually, I think it's fairly fitting.
I'm with Sharky on Hobbits, yeah.
Well. I had you reach for something high today, didn't I?
Say what?
Didn't I have you reach for something higher, or did I manage to get it?
No, you had me reach.
Yeah.
You've had me reach a few times. Honey, can you get that for me? The funny thing is, people have no problem walking up to me in stores and saying, "Excuse me, sir, could you reach it up there? I can't reach it." But they get so upset if I said, "Yeah, could you reach that down there for me?"
I help anybody who needs it.
I help
The
it.
milks were all the way in the back of the bottom there, and I pulled 3 of them forward for other people. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm nice like that.
That's how we are.
Yep.
We're nice people.
Excuse me, tall sir. Yes.
The worst thing I've ever done in my life is wore a blue polo shirt and walked into Walmart. Because not only did I have people ask me to get them something from a top shelf, they thought I worked there.
Right.
And nothing wrong with working at Walmart, except when you don't work at Walmart and those people want to insist you do.
think you
Ma'am,
are.
I don't work here. Oh, are you on break?
Yes, you do.
No, I don't work here. You're in a blue shirt. I'm also in black thong underwear. Does that mean I work at a strip club?
Oh, but it might be an idea.
It might be an idea. Not these days, dear. But you know, we're
Maybe
you know
partly
we are what
sunny
we are.
today.
Whatever height we are, we are. I don't.
That's the truth.
I've never made fun of
You
somebody
have no
for being.
control over your height. You have no control over your name. You have no control.
You have no control of your height. You do have some control of your name. You can always change it, like I did.
You have some control of your weight, but not entirely.
Oh, genetics
Yeah.
gets a little overrated.
Oh, yeah. They sell blue shirts, though. Of course they do. As an occasional table. Dad just set stuff on her.
Well, there's
Okay.
that. As an occasional table. I've used Joyce as a joke as an occasional armrest.
Yes, he has. The shoulders,
Well,
think.
I've never made fun of height or one way or the
He does
other.
it.
I don't make fun of I don't make fun of people's usually their weight. The only time I'll make fun of somebody's weight is I'll say,
Stomach bump,
I'll look at somebody and
yeah.
go, that outfit is not your size, or you're not the size for that
Yeah,
outfit,
yeah.
whether it's too big or too small.
Yeah.
You see what she was wearing? Yeah, it looked like some she threw on and almost missed. Oh, and the problem is I will be at places and
Right.
I don't know what it is. People just like I'll be at stores and people will come up and say, "Excuse me, are you the manager?" Especially like when I would come in after work, because I always
Still
wore
a
a
tie
tie,
on, yeah.
still in my tie. Yeah, if I wore a tie anywhere than where I work, I must be working there. But I'll be at a shop looking at the plumbing goods, and somebody will look and they'll go, "I'll ask this man. Excuse me, sir, do you know anything about plumbing? What can I help you with?"
Yeah. A little bit.
I've sent many people on their way with a
Shout
little
out,
bit of knowledge
oi,
of plumbing.
fatso. Oh, wow. That's rude.
And of course, then there was the funny one where you and I were at Wendy's, getting a burger.
Yeah.
And I had on a Berlin t-shirt.
Right.
And the
That's
guy
right.
said, "You got a Berlin t-shirt?" "Why, yes, I do." "Have you been to
We
Berlin?"
have to check, yeah.
"Many times." "Oh, I'm going there next week, next month, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I don't know I'm only
What
there
should I
for 2
see?
days. I don't know what to do. Let me get a napkin and a pen.
I'll give you some ideas.
This is before Google.
Yeah.
And I drew him a map and said, "Go down this street, take a left here, go here. And if you just walk down this one street and take a left and then go back to that street, here's the wall, here's the Brandenburg Gate, here's the TV tower. Here, it's all basically along this one street,
Pretty much
all
is,
these cool
yeah.
things." Yeah, I drew him a map, talked to him for about 10, 15 minutes.
Oh, at least.
Yeah.
And an apt audience. Rapt audience.
Now, the problem is if you shout out, "Hey, fatso," not only will fat people turn around, but everybody else will turn around to see who's going to get punched in the face and who
Right. Who is the
who was being called
Who was the
fatso to
idiot
see
to say
is that
that?
person really that fat. I like to do that. "Hey, dumbass," and see how many people turn around. Because those are people with low self-esteem. "Hey, dumbass," you must be talking to me. I don't respond to that. Heck, I don't respond to Tony.
I call you Tony sometimes.
Yeah, I ignore it.
You call me.
Hello, Sir Todd Armstrong.
Hi, Todd.
Well, it is about that time. Beep, 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 beep. And you never even asked a magical question because you yourself don't know. And you couldn't find it at the Kroger store that always has everything for you.
With the ice cream.
What?
I would go up the rickety spot.
Is that what you've decided?
Yeah, why not?
Are they open?
I think they are. I think they stay open all winter.
Do you think they stay open all winter now?
Yeah.
I don't know if I
They
want
tried.
ice cream. I don't know that I want ice cream.
Oh, okay. Then scratch that.
Bada boom, bada bing, bada bow. Oh,
I
'cause
tell
didn't
Liz
show-
to make
I was
cookies.
wondering why
but
that
she
guy
said,
hadn't stopped yet. Well, I didn't turn him off. Okay, you guys can
good
stop.
reason.
Yeah, the cats nailed these guys.
Oh, did they?
Well, the previous ones on. They
Yeah.
had knocked the Duchess of Sutherland and her cars over.
Ooh, that was
because-
rude.
Yeah, the Duchess did not like it.
The Duchess,
Off with their heads!
The Duchess was in their way.
Off with their
I
heads!
don't know if
Off
you
with
wanted
their
the heater.
heads!
You don't need it upstairs.
But there we are. We're back, except I gotta turn the camera around. All right, everybody. It is about that time.
Yes, it is.
About that time. Not quite that time, but about that time. So we're just going to sit here and stare. We've run a couple of minutes short, so we're just going to go. Practice my teacher look. The I'm not happy teacher look.
Yeah, you don't.
I
have to-
can't. I
You don't
can't.
have to practice that kind of look.
No, actually, I'm kind of losing it. I don't have it anymore. I need somebody to annoy me enough to go.
Wait for Kyan to do something he shouldn't. You'll be
Oh,
done.
well, that
You'll
comes
be right
in.
there. Yep.
Have to intimidate Kyan.
So you're on tomorrow at
Yes, I am
8
doing.
o'clock Eastern.
I'm on tomorrow doing Artie's show on this channel again. Wacky Weekend Light. Someday Artie will come back.
Some of you should come and watch it if you can.
Well, the problem is there's a lot of UK people. Artie's on 1 a.m. at their time.
Yeah,
You know, we have a large UK audience.
yeah, we do.
We're gonna have to start changing our accents. Speaking of which, when I
Well,
start
I mean-
doing the next Matt Clark series, I'm gonna have a lot of bad British accents, so they're just gonna
Oh,
have to get
wow.
used to it. Yeah, they're gonna meet Queen Victoria. Off with their heads, Mr. Disraeli. Off with their heads.
Ah, visitors are nice most usually.
Say what?
So yeah, happy Easter, everybody.
To those who
celebrates
celebrate Easter,
Easter.
if you celebrate
We
Easter,
had Passover last week. Happy Passover.
and if you're just passing out, happy passing out.
Sure.
And if you're just walking past us, happy passing by. And on that note,
Yes.
thanks for joining us. As again, we're always
Always.
honored by your presence here in the great feasting hall
Yep.
of the Knights of the Rhomboid Table. We will see you next Friday, and maybe, just maybe, this guy might make an appearance. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. So, until that time, until tomorrow for some of you on the same channel, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern United States time. Technically Eastern Daylight Time, but what the heck. We're going to say, Auf Wiedersehen,
Choose.
and happy trains. Take care, everybody.
Bye.